everyone, it's your girl Monica. Welcome back to the All About the Tea channel. Joining me tonight are Teacup affiliates, The Bishop.
Hey.
Hey, Plez in the building. Hey, Plez.
Hey.
And Schoolboy. Hey, Schoolboy. All right, y'all. First and foremost, if you're not subscribed to the channel, I need you to hit that subscribe button down below. And if you're already subscribed to the channel, I need y'all to bang that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the piping hot tea that we serve on this channel. And while you're down there, you might as well go on and hit the like button. Teacups, on the agenda tonight, Marc Daly dumps Kenya more again. Kandi Burris exposes her quote-unquote friend Kenya again, and DaniLeigh's problematic song that labels her a colorist. Let's get into it.
A website called All About the Tea.
She told All About the Tea that during the fight,
All right, y'all. All right. Up first is Kenya Moore and Marc Daly. They calling it quits again. Again.
How many times can you do it?
I mean, it is just a hot mess between these two. Was it ever back on again? I mean, Kenya would love us to believe that Marc wanted to reconcile with her, but I'm not buying it. You know, I mean, after the way we saw him treat her on the TV show, you could tell when he left that party, he was done.
I told you he was done when he walked out. I'm done. I ain't coming back.
Yeah. You know, their played out fairy tale marriage is, I don't know what to say. Oh, Bishop, you got a darker marker. Bring it back. Bring it back. What did it say? Kenya, what? Oh, yeah. They messy. Y'all messy. You know
That's a beautiful picture.
It is, right? Don't she look real pretty? She looks beautiful. And
that shirt look real gay. Oh, I'm sorry.
Ooh. Are you saying the blouse?
Yes. It's a unisex blouse.
You know, I mean, to be fair, I mean, they were in the Caribbean. It's a linen shirt, and he is Caribbean. You know, he got that kind of Caribbean swag to him.
Well, I mean, hey, it's a beard for a scarf.
Ooh.
I'm just saying. I mean, hey, they get there's no fair exchange. You know, ain't no robbery, fair exchange.
Ain't no robbery.
I mean, did we ever find the marriage certificate? No.
No. Y'all know I call St. Lucia, right? You know I do.
I'm trying to figure out how, Monica, you get divorced from somebody you never was married to. How do you work that out?
Well, you could do
common
law, non-paperwork marriages. You know, it's like that. Some people don't believe in the law being their business, which I don't mind if you're rich. But as long as you have a ceremony and everybody around you know that you're married to that person. Now, I don't like when people try to do those little secret marriages with no certificate. Like, well, who knows? Like,
Jazzy has a good question. She says, I wonder why Kenya's dad no longer appears on the show. Well, supposedly she got married in St. Lucia and she didn't invite him. None of her family, Aunt Lori, the dad, the only person that shows up now for Kenya on that show is the cousin. Every now and then. So Marc gave a exclusive statement to theroot.com where he announced that they're ending the marriage for good. It's over. In the statement, and I'll read the statement to you. You know, before I do that, let me go on and pull up this picture of Marc. He never looked happy with Kenya.
Hell no, he looked like this heifer getting on my damn nerves.
Right.
He looked like Get Out, you know, like blink twice. He never looked happy. Here he is again.
If the relationship is real, well, on her end, or both of their ends, if it was real at one point in time, I think the problem is she's too accessible. Nobody wants a person that's too accessible.
Right.
Give me a little mystery. Give me a little tug and push sometimes. She don't give that man no tug and push a little bit. Like me and my boys talking about this. We was saying like we like our women with a little spice. You know what I mean? Like that's a turn on. You know what I mean? But not like okay every minute. It's like girl, stop. That's too. It's you acting real like you weak or something.
Yeah. That she was. Right? Ain't that boring, boy? So Mark's statement read, and I quote: "After recently attending mediation, Kenya and I have agreed to end our marriage. I will always have great care for her and look forward to amicably continuing to co-parent our daughter Brooklyn with an abundance of love and wisdom. As always, in addition to perpetual self-improvement, my primary focus will continue to be helping the underdeserved and people of color in Brooklyn to recover from the negative impact of COVID-19. This focus will take shape through using my restaurant as a community hub where positive and diverse perspectives on important topics such as economic empowerment, social activism, and political engagement can be highlighted in a safe and productive forum. I am blessed to be a positive change agent for not just my family, but also my community. Peace and love, Marc Daly."
Who publicist wrote that?
Yeah. Marc Daly didn't write that. Yeah. What are your thoughts, Bishop, on Mark's statement?
AKA, we have no chemistry. That's what he was saying. Through all that fluff, talking about the restaurant. AKA, I have a restaurant that I need y'all to patronize to, because I'm running out of money and my supposedly wife stopped missing the Cash App payments. So I need you to detour and go to my restaurant, along with me being a figure of trying to join with Portia Martin Luther King Jr. And so, it to me, it's just like, okay, he just basically letting y'all know that he was never really liking her like that. And it was more on her end. And I was reading somebody in the comment, they were saying, but he likes submissive women. Okay, it's one thing to be submissive, it's another thing to be a doormat. That's two different things. And I think a lot of women get that confused with submission. Submission is mean you just, you're with him, but you're not like a pushover. You're just following along with the program and y'all being a team. Like he's the captain, she's the first mate. You know what I mean? So it's just, it just never was no chemistry. I don't care how much submission she does. It just ain't no chemistry.
None. Schoolboy, what are your thoughts on Mark's statement? And they're breaking up for good. It's over. Mark's done with it.
I've been saying, Monica, they got a F and fight relationship. We fight, but when we get it in, and it's good. But you get on my nerves. I break it back off, but you get on my nerves. And I think that it just got to a point where it's like, you know what? I'm tired of just fighting just to get up in the sheets, and you just get on my nerves because now I don't even want to give it to you because you're annoying. And my thing is, what happened to the car that she bought him? She paid off his taxes and she bought him a vehicle. So he keeping that in the divorce?
I'm pretty sure that was part of the payment plan. I mean, yeah.
I just want them to be honest. Come on, if y'all had like a little common law marriage, it's cool. We ain't even tripping. But we all know Kenya needed a plot line to stay on the show. What did she have?
Right, exactly. And first, let me acknowledge Fire Feed. Thank you so much for the super chat. Kenya is miserable. Her misery was pouring into him. He had to get away. Like, she is tainted love. Yeah, I have to agree with you, Fiery Feed. Kenya is toxic. Let's keep it real. And I mean, that's evident in her history of men. No one ever sticks around too long. Even Kandi says that, Kenya has issues with making friends. And it probably all goes back to her childhood and being abandoned by her mother. which is really sad. But at some point, and I've said this before, at some point, because Kenya's now 50, and we all go through things, okay? I mean, Kenya's childhood was bad, and she was abandoned by her mother. But you sit down your neighbor, and they'll tell you an even worse story. People go through things. But my thing is, at some point, you got to stop. There's an expiration date on that for me. As an adult, you have to stop blaming your current behavior on stuff that happened to you when you were a child. Because yes, it happened. We know that, but go get it fixed. Go see a therapist, because you running around society being toxic is no good to everybody around you, and it's no good to you. It's not benefiting her. It's not. It's really, really, really not. I also want to touch on Marc stopping Kenya's bag by not allowing her to exploit Brooklyn. Brooklyn can't do photo shoots. Brooklyn can't appear on the show anymore. Real Housewives of Atlanta. Schoolboys, sound off on that.
Oh, well, them island people, they like to get spiteful too. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what she still owes him. I don't know what the payment arrangement they got over there, but them cash apps, them PayPals, and them checks is bouncing. I'm gonna need her going to get that man that money. But you know what? I think he has so much pent up anger towards her that he's trying to punish her, but he's using the child, and I said this in my own video on my page. I would never use the child as a weapon, but the child is going to be used as a weapon between the both of them because they don't know how to effectively communicate. And that's what happens when you get two toxic people together that have a child, and it spills over. Because I don't believe he perfect neither, because I think he got some ish with him too. Because you could tell how nasty he be talking to her. But I also, hey, you attract like. So your energy is what you draw in law of attraction. I believe in that. I firmly believe in that. And she attracted the energy she gave. In some ways, sometimes I be feeling sorry for her. Sometimes I don't, because I know karma, they never got an expiration date. And you have done some nasty, vile things to people on that show. And so, I mean, hey, it is what it is. But it's wrong to stop her bag like that. Come on, man. She got to make them checks so she can pay you.
Right, exactly. Right. Keep up them payments and stuff. Yolanda Brown says, why do you hate Kenya so much? Is it hate? Well, first of all, I don't hate anyone. I'm too grown to hate anyone. Hate's such a strong word. I don't have time to sit around hate anyone. Do I dislike Kenya's character? Very much so. I do. I really, really do. Bishop, what are your thoughts on Marc Daly stopping Kenya's bag? He's like, hold up now. You're not going to exploit my child. You can go on TV and act a fool all you want to, but not with my child.
I agree with him.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that, because he wasn't comfortable being on TV. So it's not a shocker that he don't want his daughter to be on the show. And you remember when the quote he gave that she tried to cover up on season 10 reunion? She tried to say, oh, Marc, he never saw the show. But he gave the statement to the producers that he don't like the depiction of black women on the show. He been voiced his opinion before he came on there. They finally seen him, and he didn't like it. So why would he want his daughter to be wrapped up in that foolishness as well? So I honestly believe that he wants life off camera. And I think the relationship would have worked if she would stay off camera. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. He, like you said, good point. Before he even came on the show, the season they got married, I think it was season 10, right? They got married between season 10.
It 9 when they got the split, right? 9.
Yeah, the split between 9 and 10, yeah.
It was season 10 where it came out, or she got married and stuff, and Kenya didn't tell the producers, and it was a big old secret and stuff. Now, if you don't do all that and you're on a reality show and you know it's part of your contract to include them on life events, then you should have just quit the show. And like she told them girls off in Houston when they went to Houston for Hurricane Harvey recovery to do the volunteer work. She told the girls in the bathroom, she told Ken, this is why my husband don't want me on this show. Remember she said that she blew up. She had a big blow up. She should have stayed her behind off the show, acting all hoity-toity. You know what? I can't stand when a single girlfriend gets married and then she act brand new. Like nobody else in the world got a man besides her.
and that should have been her exit for her character. was season 10 reunion, or even going into 11. That should have been her last season. She said, you know what? It's been a good run. Y'all finally seen him on towards the end of season 10. Everyone got a feel for him. I'm pregnant now, and he don't want me to be on here because she wasn't invited to 11. Remember?
Right. She was
and
fired.
So yeah, she's fired. So she should have came back to ruffle Nene's feathers and then left. Made a grand entrance, like they all to do. Like they try to be real dramatic.
She needed that money, Bishop. She needed that money, and Kenya likes that limelight and the relevancy of being on TV. Kenya's not willing to let go of being on TV. Marc would I totally agree with both of y'all. Marc would have probably stayed had she got her behind up off of TV. She didn't want to get off of TV because it made her relevant again. Wasn't nobody worried about where Kenya Moore was until she got back on Atlanta?
Well, you remember she was on Millionaire Matchmaker, so they wanted TV with her on TV. So she could have gave an offer to Andy, say, "Hey, you here? I got a good idea for you. If you be the executive producer for my reality show with just me and Marc, you can get a glimpse of our life." He don't want to no longer be on Real Housewives of Atlanta, and I'm pretty sure they would oblige. I'm pretty sure they would oblige her because she's a one-woman show. Honestly, you love to see Kenya and you see all the scenes and all that stuff because she's fun and she's pretty, and on top of that, she's not afraid to be a villain either. So and I'm pretty sure her family probably would have came back and said, "Oh, you're off that show. We might be willing to film with you."
But see, you got to have a spouse that's willing to do that, and I've seen even Teresa Giudice's boyfriend said he ain't fooling line with Bravo. Tinsley's man said I ain't line with Bravo. You have to be with someone who's willing to have cameras in their face, 12 and 18 hours a day. Everybody don't want to be like that.
That's a good point.
But and my thing is but you knew what she was and what TV show she was when you got with her. So that's where I'm confused with him on.
I think Kenya sold him a dream and said, "I'm going to leave reality TV for you. This is going to be my new life." And then she realized he was broke, and that she would have to support him. And Real Housewives of Atlanta, let's keep it real. It's a bag. It's a bag. Her salary was like 1.5 or 1 million. It's a bag. So it's hard to give that up. But I don't think Marc was a willing participant. She begged him, gave him an extra bonus in his salary and said, "Look, if you come on season 12 with me, I'll pay you extra. I'll do all this stuff." And he said, "All right, let's go. Let's do it." And then he just saw how behind the scenes, how shady she was and how manipulative he was and how ugly she was. And he said, "You know what? Okay, you want to play? Let's play."
and some men are like that. I'm the type of man where I watch how you treat other people, because just because you can treat me nice, I don't know when that switch is going to flip and you start treating me nasty like you treat your friends and your homegirls and other couples. Because that was the season Nene was trying to apologize to her and she was acting real snide and real ugly with her. Now I got why she was mad at Nene, but after a while when Nene kept trying to apologize to you, finally in front of your husband, and she's trying to make amends so y'all can be cool again and y'all might do couples things. I could see in thinking in his head like, this girl crazy.
Yeah,
and that's wrong.
No man wants an ugly woman that doesn't have a forgiving heart, who's not loving, behind the scenes, always plotting, talking about people behind their back. If you're gonna be like that, don't let the man see it. Do it in the closet late at night, right?
You see how he was like, Ken, reel it in. Reel it in, Ken. Reel it in. I was like, "Ooh, get him, Marc. Get him."
Yeah.
I was when he was calling her Ken.
And then Portia and Nene like, "Who's Ken?"
Cool Cat has a really good comment. She says, "Please stop. Kenya does use her mother as an excuse. It is people that don't care for her that use it against her. I guess they are castmates that have had men treat them worse." Okay.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true. Listen, just go on and get this so-called divorce. I want to see the paperwork. If the marriage is real, show me the paperwork, right? There has to be a court filing. That's all I care about. The receipts, right? People in St. Lucia told me that there was no marriage certificate that existed. Prove me wrong. I want to see it, you know? That's what I'm really, really interested. So they got married in September. Well, they split in September 2019. And I remember it was the day after they aired the episode where he had his men's empowerment gala. And then he made a statement to People magazine saying he was leaving her. And then 5 minutes later, she gave a statement to People magazine because I guess she got embarrassed. We are divorcing. Listen, it was doomed from the start, sadly. You know, it was doomed from the start. Things just weren't adding up at all.
And you know, and she, you know, she ain't got no manny, because you could tell by she doing that fake scene. She's sitting down with the person talking about more hair care. I'm like, Are you doing that trying to convince us that you're not broke?
All right, y'all. So moving on to Kenya, Kandi, and this donation drama. So remember last week, Kandi went on her Speak On It with Don Juan, and they were insinuating it was a cast member that didn't make a payment, that didn't make a donation. Don Juan is, you know, Kandi's mouthpiece, and he just finally said it was Kenya. And Kandi expressed how hurt she was by that and how other people made donations, basically throwing her friend under the bus to the public. Well, Kenya went on Watch What Happens Live Sunday, and according to Kenya, she made a donation and she paid, she said more than $5,000, more than $5,000. So, you know, she goes, like her exact quote was, "Oh, well, I did. And I gave more than $5,000. So I don't know why people assume that Kandi was speaking about me." She actually said your name, sweetheart. She actually, Don Juan, they actually said her name. Bishop, sound off. Do you think Kenya really paid the money?
She probably did, you know, because that's something he used to say. I think, you know, after seeing some interview with Kandi talking about she trying so hard to stay relevant. This is probably her way trying to stay relevant by saying she might didn't give that day. Now I agree with that because people do use words on they play on words. She probably didn't give that day, but she probably did give afterwards. You know what I mean? To make it look like during that scene, you know, which was true, she didn't give at the time. She probably was going through something at that time, you know, because quarantine just started. I really it wouldn't make no sense for her to lie about that, but you know, it probably is true. Either way, Kandi was a messed up friend for that. Because I would never out my friend if she didn't never give, but I would acknowledge the fact that she did help me or he helped me. Whoever it was helped me. I wouldn't out my friend like that. But that lets you know how fake these friendships are for you allow your employee to say that about your friend, your castmate, your another person that you work with on a TV show. And I can't respect that about Kandi because you're trying to drum up manufacture drama because your life is boring. I'm sorry, Kandi. I love the fact that you're rich and it's awesome because I know you probably watch the show, but your time is up, ma'am. Salute. Bye. I'm like DaniLeigh's when she closed that laptop. Bah!
Yeah, you know, you raise a good point. And the timing. When Kandi and Don Juan made their video, I don't think Kenya made the donation at that point because they literally called her out. Don Juan said Kenya's name. It was no speculation at that point when he said Kenya. I think after that, Kenya went ahead and made a donation, probably $5,000 and a penny for her to say it's over $5,000. You know what I'm saying? You know how Kenya gets out. So by the time she appeared on Watch What Happens Live, she knows Andy Cohen's going to ask her about the donation now. She can say, well, I paid. I don't know why people were speculating it's about me. Kandi wrong, though. Kandi was wrong for that. You don't throw your friends under the bus like that. And, you know, Kenya probably had to take out a loan from the bank, a small business loan or something to pay her. You never know what people are going through. Just because they live in a big old house and they drive around a Bentley don't mean they got money.
Yeah, I ain't got liquid money either.
Right. The cash flow problems. Cash flow. Schoolboy, sound off on that. What are your thoughts?
Well, you know, everybody in the quarantine right about now got a little cash flow problems, you know. I ain't got no cash flow problems, but you know, some people got cash flow problems. You know, but the way her savings and checking was set up at that time, she might not have had it.
Right.
I do think before she knew she was gonna be scheduled for Watch What Happens Live, she did make a payment. Now I do agree with you, Monica. It might be petty. She made it paid $5,050.50. You know, just to say, you know, it was over 5,000. But I don't think she paid it at that time. I think, and see, and if Kandi, see, she up here playing people for a storyline. That's how you know she broke. I mean, she ain't got nothing else to talk about. Not that she's broke, but she don't have shit else to talk about. I mean, what Riley's gone with her that bad nose job. Ooh, terrible. I wish they would stop zooming in on that on the show. You know, she's gone. Them kids, the small ones, they don't talk. So I mean, what do we? I mean, I'm sorry, Ace do, but I mean, what is there to talk about? I think she used her friend, and we say the term friend loosely because let's be real, these women are paid to argue with each other at dinners. Okay, they ain't friends. Most of these people would not hang around with each other in the same circles. They're co-workers. So right. You know, she threw her co-worker underneath the bus. That was dirty. And you know they're gonna bring it up at the reunion. They're gonna use this Monica on the reunion. Watch.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Santane, thank you so much for the super chat. Like you said, Monica, he didn't like who she showed herself to be. Plus, she blasted their business on TV and let the entire world know he had cheated. Wrong move if you want your man to stay around, girl. Yes, I agree. Hey, Ples, welcome back. Mm-hmm. Hey, boo. We're diving into.
Hey, Ples.
You on mute, baby.
Oh, I apologize. I had some family business. Now I got to get back. Y'all done ran the rakes over my girl Kenya Moore.
No, I didn't. You know, let me tell you this, Ples. I have so much love for Kenya like you do, but I'm willing to tell the truth about my friend in my head. The truth.
Well, hold on, I tell the truth.
Yeah, you do. You do.
Let me bring you up to speed, girl. So we covered the Marc Daly and Kenya breakup again. They're officially splitting now. Marc is saying goodbye. I'm done with this heifer. I'm finished. I'm done. What are your thoughts on that? He made a statement to theroot.com. What are your thoughts?
You know, did y'all see the letter that the the head of the Board of Education wrote to Miss Betsy DeVos? If you didn't, it was just their head of their letterhead, and it said "Good riddance." Mm-hmm. No, Mark, we don't need you no more, Mark. We got our baby, and we're good. We don't need that. We don't need it. Look, I love Kenya, and I know y'all are like, but why? Look, again, I don't care how many issues somebody has. You still need somebody to love you. Y'all can say what you want about me, but unfair. I don't like Candace. But I always say, I'm glad Candace has Chris. Mm-hmm. Everybody needs a safe place. Mm-hmm. Kenya is deserving of a safe place. She's never really had that her whole life, with the exception of a few of her aunts and extended family. I'm cheering for her. I want her to get to a place where she finds a man who actually likes her, not her image, not her looks, not her titles or her former title, who likes her. I think that's going to require a lot of self-work from my friend, but I want her to get there. So yeah, bye, Mark. Go on, save Brooklyn like the actual borough.
You just made something in that sentence is she's going to have to do the work. She's going to have to change a lot within to find a man, a good man now, not a user, not someone using her to get on her payroll that she has to pay. Because we got to get out of that cycle. We got to break that cycle for Kenya. We need her to find a man that she doesn't have to pay, that truly loves her for who she is.
But
she
can't
gotta
but
stop using the. She has to stop playing the victim. You can't be the victim of the situation. You can't be a victim, but then you sit back and be a volunteer. You need to change you because you can't attract what you want, a loving man, if your insides is messed up. Because your energy is that's what you bring into you. And I really I don't hate the woman. I just want the woman to really get healed because Kenya could have everything that she wants if she would just really work on herself.
And also Kenya, before she can find a man, she has to find Kenya. And Kenya may have all these things on the outside, but she has nothing on the inside. And I've been watching her since I was a little boy, like 5 years old. I used to say, I would love for a woman to look like that if I married, because I always loved Kenyans, even when I was a little boy. That was my girl right there. I'm gonna marry a girl that looks just like her.
Yeah,
And she's beautiful, but you can tell she's not comfortable with chocolate skin. Now she may say, with all this chocolate, she may say all that, but no, you don't believe that. I can tell you don't believe that because the way you come off, you can feel that energy sometimes.
It's always interesting to me that I don't think people have really watched the show long enough and remember the genesis of the characters in the show. One, again, no, it's never an excuse, but people got to stop confusing excuses for facts. Kenya has at her core level of development a fear of rejection.
Yes.
She has been rejected from the number one person who was supposed to accept her. Be clear. I actually don't even blame Kenya's mother because Kenya's mother was a child. If we want to get into the psychology of it, this is something that affects our communities. That woman was clear that she did not want to have a baby. But back in her time, abortion wasn't an option. So she was trying to give her baby up for adoption. Family members stepped in and said, we're going to adopt her. And at 15, 16, her mama didn't have a choice. So she was forced to confront this child that she did not want every day of her life. So the mental effery of that is deep.
Yeah.
Now, at 50, Kenya needs intense therapy, and she has to get to the point where she says, I gotta mourn baby Kenya. I gotta mourn child Kenya. I gotta mourn teenage Kenya and let that go.
Yes.
But it's hard. It's deep work. It's work that most people never get. Now, with that being said, Kenya came in trying to be everybody's friend. She tried to be Phaedra's friend. She tried to be Nene's friend.
She tried.
And the type of person Kenya is, once you show her that you ain't effing with her,
An
she
Aquarius.
ain't effing with you.
Yep.
So like last week when we were talking about the whole Kandi Don Juan thing, I don't take issue with Portia criticizing whether or not Kenya gave. I wouldn't take issue with Nene saying Kenya didn't give. I take issue with Kandi because one, Kandi said she wasn't gonna say no names. So if you're not gonna say no names, don't say no names. Two, Kandi is supposed to be her friend.
Speak on it.
If you watch Kenya, she is loyal. She never goes against the ones who are supposed to be her friend. She doesn't go against Kandi. She doesn't go against Cynthia. Now, she's not the best friend.
She's shady.
Because Cynthia is a beta and Kenya is an alpha. But even with Marc's thing, she said Kandi gave, Cynthia gave. But the ones who she doesn't like, Portia, Nene, whoever, she's going to go at their necks. And I don't see why people are like, she's so much different. Nene was the same way. If she didn't like you, she didn't like you. I think people just get mad because Kenya is good at it. She came in trying to be everybody's friend. It didn't work. So she was like, okay, if you can't beat them, then go the other way. If you can't join them, she decided to take on that villain role. Now, for me, it is getting a bit old. I was happy last year when her and Portia were bonding over being first-time mothers. I wanted them to continue that path. But for whatever reason, it didn't. Because with any of these shows, none of us want to watch somebody yelling at the same person for 5, 6, 7, 8 years.
No.
It's like, girl, don't do no more scenes together. It's clear it ain't gonna never come for y'all. So yes, it comes to a point in time where it's like y'all need to go on makeup or get off the show or not film with each other. So that part is getting old to me. I've been very honest about how I feel with her going against Portia and Black Lives Matter. It's trash. I've said that. I don't know what y'all want me to say. I'm honest in how I see it. She's wrong for that. But the other little stuff she does, busting up in Marlo's business, I ain't care. Marlo figures out 10 different ways to tell that girl her mama ain't want her. You tell me my mama ain't want me, I'm coming at your neck every time I see you.
And that's real right there, because at the end of the day, Kenya is an Aquarius, and she does love people that she loves, and that's what made me mad at her when Kandi came at her neck. She should have came right back at Candy's neck. Like, that's the thing. I'm wondering, like, is you scared of Kandi?
She's scared of Kandi. Absolutely.
Is it because of Candy's pool with producers? Is it that?
Yeah. Kandi is the producer's favorite. She's the HIBC in charge, and it's clear Kenya is very scared of Kandi. I get it, but I'm over it, Plaz. Like, Kenya's 50 years old, and at some point she needs to grow up and stop the mean girl act. Stop putting up walls around herself. Even when you don't do anything to Kenya, she's nasty to you. And Kandi pretty much said that in her speak on it this week, that Kenya doesn't open up to people easily. She doesn't make friends easily. So she's surprised at how receptive she is of LaToya. I just want Kenya to stop being. She says she's a Jehovah's Witness. She says she believes in Jehovah. She believes in God. I want to see that in her. I want to see it in her. I'm tired of it. And now she's too old for this mess. I'm just over it. Ooh.
I don't know. Everything that I said, people say she's not like that on the show. Like it. I mean, after the show, like it's truly an act. Everybody who works with her on other things, they love her. Personality wise, one-on-one wise, they love her, and that's why it's like she came in hot. Again, she is still looking. In one of these recent interviews she did, she admitted that she started acting as a source of validation. So any new environment she goes in, she's seeking validation. And when she did not get that from these women, and it was kind of established that Nene was head dog, she was like, okay, well, you're going to be the head of this, and I'm going to be the head of this. And she just stuck to it. But again, it is about time to come up out of it.
Yeah. It's going to be hard to build a show around her with that villain character that she's made, because it's going to be hard to put women in a room with Kenya if she's going to constantly vice at people like that. It's not going to make a good establishment between her and other women, and that's just where it's going to be a problem. And I understand where Bravo was saying, okay, well, get rid of Nene. We still got Kenya, but if she doesn't change something about the way that she interacts with these women, you're not going to be able to keep a cast around her, because people are not going to want to film with her because they don't know what they're going to get from her in that moment. And I think because she's so divisive, and if you don't accept her in that first time, the hell with you, I'm coming for you, that's going to push people off just a little bit, because it's like, well, dang, I don't really know how to take her, because I can be around her. She might be nice this time, but she might just come for the next time. So I don't really know. And I think that's just where it's going to continue to be a struggle with Bravo, with trying to build a cast around her. Kenya's 50 years old, and it is hard to teach old dogs new tricks. So unless she makes it in her mind that she actually wants to change herself, it ain't going to change.
Absolutely.
Kenya need to come out the closet. She really bisexual. She really in love with Portia. Let me tell you why she in love with Portia. Anybody that keep going after somebody for like 8 years, to me, you're just disguising as hate, but you really love her. And she said she's the reason why she's mad at Portia because Portia's able to come out and say she's openly bisexual. And that's one thing. That's one thing she couldn't do.
Right. That's a good point. Brandon, thank you so much for the super chat. He says Kenya knows that the show needs a villain. We understand that, but these ladies are beyond the villain at this point. Kenya's beefing with herself. She's just making up stuff just to make up stuff now. It's not even organic. You know what I mean? It's coming off evil and cruel. Going against Portia for the Black Lives Matter stuff. Really, girl? You might want to rethink that. Brandon says she was playing to up what the audience wants and what producers want. She is the Joan Collins of reality TV. All of the drama is centered around her. When it's organic, it works. I understand fake drama, like the stuff she was doing with Apollo to antagonize Phaedra. You know, her and Phaedra had a good, back and forth. That worked. What's going on with her this season? It's like she's looking for something to be cruel and mean about. And Black Lives Matter, attacking that it's not the way to do it. It really isn't. But thank you, Brandon. I appreciate it. Shelba says, thank you, Monica. I agree. Kenya's too old for that mess. It's over time. It's overtime for the excuses for her. Time out. It's expired. I mean, at some point we have to take accountability for our own behavior. And we all go through things. We all have been through childhood trauma. And I mean, there's people that have been raped their whole life and by their parents, their own parents that don't act like Kenya. You go, you do the work. You go get help. You want to be a productive member of society. You want to, at some point, you want to spread love. I don't know. Kenya she needs Jesus. She really does.
She really do.
She does. She's productive, and she definitely spreads love to who she want to spread it to.
Plans. Who is that? I want to know. I mean, there's a video, and I was just like, oh my God, poor Brooklyn. There was a video she posted on social media, and Brooklyn's outside playing with the doggies. And Brooklyn is like, come here, doggy, come here, doggy. And she comes out the door and she goes, Brooklyn, stop calling your daddy. You know he's not here. And I said, look at this shit. Why is she trying to make this little baby crazy just like her? She literally said that, Plez. She said, Brooklyn, stop calling for your daddy. You know he's not here. And then she uploaded it to social media like it was something cute or something. I don't know.
Generational curse. I believe that her mama, the way she is, probably from the grandma.
Look at Plez's face. Okay, to bring you up to speed, Plez, we also talked about Kenya saying she did donate. She appeared on Watch What Happens Live last night. Of course, Andy Cohen brought it up. And Kenya said, I don't know why people were speculating it was me because I did donate and I gave more than $5,000. What do you think happened? You think Kandi lied, or did Kenya did the quick cash app after Kandi and Don Juan went live?
I think it was definitely a quick cash app. I just have to be honest because Kandi, like I said, before Don Juan even said it, when Kandi alluded to it in her confessional, I knew that's what she, was that she was one of the ones that she was talking about, which is why I said, if you're not going to say it, then just don't say it. Don't send Don Juanisha to do your dirty work. But
Don Juanisha?
No, you didn't, girl.
Don't send him over there to do your little dirty work. And again, these aren't friendships. And I think that's the thing. I keep wanting to be real or somewhat real. I don't do these fake friendships. I don't do that. If my friend did not give something to my charity, one, I probably wouldn't say nothing because they showed up and worked. Again, this is a lot is going on right now. I'm not counting anybody's pockets. But if it really bothered me that much, I would have called my friend and said, friend, I really wanted, what's going on? I wanted you to give. Kandi never does that. That's one thing I don't like about Kandi. She's not direct. And I can't do friendships like that. We're too grown to be second guessing, playing mind games, figuring out what somebody's mad about. just go on, say it, girl, and get it off your chest, because it was clearly bothering you for you to bring it up in the confessional. And then, how many months ago did they film that confessional? Then you did a speak on it, and again, let your mouthpiece talk for you some more. So,
Very tacky. Very
you
tacky.
know, like
Yeah.
you know, when we were talking about the episode earlier, and people were mad about the whole her bringing in anything. I'm like, again, you're counting somebody's money. She put the nanny up in the villa, but you heard her say her baby was gonna be with her at night. You know why? She probably can't afford to pay that nanny 24 hours a day.
Right. Yeah.
Like, she does not. Let's be clear. I love her. I love her personality. I think she's a fun girl when she's not on some other stuff. But she don't have the money that they got. And I don't know what, I think people want her to just say that out loud. None of them are going to say it. They're celebrities. They
Right.
have to keep up the image. But you don't need for her to open her mouth and say it for you to know she don't have a coin that Kandi and Portia have. She doesn't. So, you know, I think it's déclassé to browbeat somebody into donating. I don't even want it. If I gotta beg you for it, I don't want it.
Right.
And so Kandi, you know, I mean, I'm glad she gave, but doing it at this late of an hour, you know, one thing I will say about Kandi, she is traditionally not a flat out liar. So for her to bring it up twice,
Yeah, she's not a liar. Kandi ain't lying. Kenya did a quick cash app because she knew she was going on Watch What Happens Live. She knows Andy Cohen is shady. So, you know, she said she probably took out a personal loan from a bank or something and said, you know what, I'll pay it back in 60 days or something. You know, listen, people assume because you on TV and you drive a Rolls Royce that you got money. But there are not broke, people with cash flow issues that are flashy. Remember what Mark said? Ken likes the flash. Ken likes the flash. I don't like. And then she says, well, there's nothing wrong. I work hard. There's nothing wrong with me having, you know, driving a Rolls Royce. He said, I know that, but there are things that we need to do before we get to that point. We need to prioritize things. So apparently Kenya is bad at managing money. You know, we got Dr. Ivy in the chat. Hey, Dr. Ivy, chime in.
Hey, Dr. Ivy.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're doing well. We're doing well.
Amazing show per usual. I just love everything you guys have to say. Okay. I 100% agree with the generational curses point of view. I actually made a comment in the chat. You know, it's sad. You know, for Kenya's situation, obviously her mom, unfortunately, you know, had challenges, and that's probably a result of the time. And I mean, perhaps what her mom and dad were also going through. I don't know if her grandfather was in the picture or not, but you're right. Absolutely. Some of our challenges in our community are generational. And I see this all the time in the hospital. You know, okay. Next thing I wanted to say is, you know, it's important to investigate someone's family history. Do you guys remember there was a time she said she actually had not met Marc's parents? So you have, from Kenya's point of view, I'm not sure if she's seen a healthy and successful marriage. I'm just not sure. I don't know if her grandmother had, you know, her husband in the picture or not. Clearly, her parents were not together and don't appear to have ever been together. Okay. And then on Marc's side, what's up? You know, it's okay. Sometimes you do have to cut off family if they're toxic. So I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing to not have a relationship, but there needs to be a clear explanation. Okay. And you guys have probably seen families where things are just inherited. It's not just your diabetes, your hypertension, but also our way of thinking and our way of being. Sometimes you attract it is 100%, you know, in the family. So if she's not seeing a healthy, successful marriage and the husband may or may not be, there's going to be challenges, and it's going to just be a challenge. Then the other thing I wanted to, well, I'll just pause on that. I mean, do you guys understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally.
Absolutely. A lot of people don't truly underestimate, and people are always rolling their eyes when we talk about therapy. But therapy, knowing your triggers, knowing how another person was raised. I tell people this all the time when we talk about in our community, Black, and how sometimes it seems like the women and the men are talking at each other and not to each other. A lot, not all, but a lot of us come from single parent households. And if you've never seen a wife, you don't know how to be one. If you've never seen a husband, you don't know how to be one. You can learn, but you don't see the natural dance and compromise and give and take and all the things that go into a successful relationship. No, you shouldn't stay and take mental, emotional, physical, sexual abuse or anything like that, constant cheating. But you also shouldn't be running out the door at the first sign of a disagreement. But because you don't see that on a daily basis, you don't see the give and take that's required. And, I don't know which side, but like Kenya's grandfather, the reason her mother didn't want her is because, just back in those times, it was very shameful for somebody to get pregnant as a teenager. And so her grandfather did not, and basically shamed the mother. Her Aunt Lori talked about it a few seasons ago. And so to please her father, her mother, like, I'll move away and I'll give the baby up for adoption. But then Kenya's grandmother on her father's side stepped in and said, I will raise her. It's just like, I don't know if y'all watched, I love the Dallas Cowboys when I did watch football. So I'm a big Terrell Owens fan. His father was a married man, and he lived right across the street from Terrell Owens.
Yeah.
And never walked across their street and acknowledged him, introduced himself, embraced him, anything. So T.O. is 40, 50 years old, still crying about his daddy. So Kenya's the same way. She knew who her mother was. She could see her mother, but her mother wouldn't embrace her. But her mama was a kid. She was 15, 16. Right. She didn't know what to do with her emotions either. Right. So yes, it's cyclical. Kenya needed to do a lot of work even before she had Brooklyn. People don't want to hear, but unfortunately, as much as I love Kenya, if she doesn't do some serious work, she pour all of those issues into Brooklyn. Not on purpose. It's just the reality of our keys and how we're.
Yeah,
so I hope she gets it. I hope she gets some, help and takes healing seriously for herself and for Brooklyn.
I absolutely agree with what you're saying. I kind of want to. Sometimes I want to compare, like you said, the genesis of of their coming on the show, Kenya and actually Portia, because they're both in new roles, kind of new moms, relatively new relationships, and finding themselves as women. So they actually do have a lot in common. But with Portia, she's clearly evolving, and her star power is rising. I mean, really, she is now an activist, and no one can, I don't care, stripper this, stripper that, she is an activist, period. And no one, I feel like the level of the show is actually elevating at this point because of Portia and her work. Yeah. Because it's a sacrifice for her. That's number one. Like, you can see Portia's evolving. She's clearly more independent. She's away from that ex-husband of hers that seemed to be a little bit controlling. She may be overcompensating a little bit with Dennis, putting his clothes in the basement. But now when I look at Kenya, when she first was on the show, she's saying, I'm 40 and fabulous, twirling and twirling and twirling. Is she any, honestly, she's still talking about she's now 50 and fabulous.
Right.
I mean, truly. Truly.
Mhm.
And now she's saying, you know, in the beauty department, I'm better looking than Drew. Are you still, it's been maybe 10 years. I don't know how long she's been on the show, but it's been
About
almost
8
10
years.
years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
close to, yeah.
So I think Kenya is a very smart lady, sophisticated lady. I'm not saying Portia, it's not about intelligence, but like, what is your trajectory? Where are you going? Let's evolve. Like, we need something fresh and new, not just because the show is different, but because it's like, Kenya, we know you. I do believe she has it in her, and she almost reminded me a little bit of the Dr. Wendy scene because, you know, Dr. Wendy from Real Housewives of Potomac, she's talking about how her degrees are, you know, is what makes her who she is. And now, you know, and saying, none of you guys have the same degrees that I have. Now Kenya is saying, I'm beauty. I'm fabulous. Are you shading me? I'm fabulous. I'm beauty. And almost like shading the others. And all of these women are beautiful. So it was almost, did you guys notice that? It almost reminded me of that scene. But it's like.
That's what I was talking about with building everything on the outside up and nothing on the inside. Same thing with Wendy. All these degrees. It may not be beauty for Wendy, but even though Wendy is beautiful, but it's about her degrees. And it's like, okay, you're talking about paper, you're talking about your looks, you're talking about the men you can get, you're talking about this, that, and the third. But what's going on inside of you? Who are you? Who is Wendy? Who is Kenya? Who is you know, all these characters? Like, who are you? And the only person I really think that took an introspective look at their life and looked over it was Portia to me. Yeah, Portia changed tremendously. Was open up about who she is. You know, she made a transition from, you know, being closed-minded at one point in time in her life. She made a transition with, you know, becoming an activist. She made.
Did we lose Bishop?
I think it froze.
I think you froze. I just wanted to highlight this comment on the screen because it's, to me, it hits home. Ray the Don says, what happened to you was not your fault, but healing is your responsibility. Yes. Absolutely.
But so many people don't want to do, again, y'all, self-work is hard. Self-work means you basically have to say how I was raised, how I grew up, everything I was taught, what I knew was not good enough. It wasn't right. It wasn't good. And it takes a strong person to do that. And because people never get to that level where they're willing to do that work, they just settle and they lie in it and they do what's been working for them, even if it's not really what's working for them anymore. You know, her beauty is what she knows. Just like Wendy knows, she knows if nothing else, I'm smarter than you.
Exactly.
Kenya knows, if nothing else, I'm prettier than you. And to her, that is where she has put her value in her self-worth. Not in herself, but in the image and in the face. And also, it is generational. Portia is in a different, you know, still in her late 30s. So she's in an age range where the different exploration is okay. You can kind of wild and be on TV and be on the radio and be, you know, accept. Our generation is more accepting of our being whole people. Whereas with Kenya, and also it is that beauty training, you know, prim and proper and always look the part, even if everything else is crumbling, your life, your heart, your house, everything else is crumbling down. But I look the part, and that's what she was taught. That's what why I think so many in our generation are breaking those chains. Like, no, I'm a human. I get depressed, I get anxious, I cry, you know, because that life is so repressive. You always have to be on guard. And that's the reality of it. Kenya is always on guard. Even if somebody is being nice or friendly to her, she doesn't know how to take it and accept it. She's you know, she is a really definition of survival mode. And that is also why she doesn't respect Portia. Portia has the family support. Portia had initially a husband, someone who quote unquote had to get it from the mud, like Kenya. She feels like she's truly self-made. I didn't have a mother. I did this. I didn't have that. And I made it for myself. So she will never truly share as an equal because she will always like, you got here because you were Cordell's wife. Then you got here because of, everybody felt sorry for you because he announced the divorce on Twitter. Then you got here, know what I'm saying? She's going to fully give her just due. And that's why for me, the show is kind of needs to be retired, or at least the characters. They need to all cast because everybody has pretty much shown their revolution. Kandi has gotten married and got 2 kids. I mean, what we're gonna do? I like Kandi and I like her restaurants, but we don't want to watch her open up no more restaurants.
Bye.
Cynthia been married, divorced, now she's remarried. Noelle's grown up. Drew, it looks kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Latoya, she's gonna go. I like Tanya a lot. I'm ready for Marlo to be gone. It just there's only so much you can show people. Like I said before, you compare it to a regular sitcom. Sitcoms don't go on this long. Nothing's been on is Atlanta House except for Law and Order. Think
And The
about
Simpsons.
it. Like, yeah.
Christopher raises a good point. Well, it's not a good point, but I want to address this. He says it's clear hate and bias against Kenya. Well, are we hating against Kenya? I mean,
No.
You're part of the problem, Christopher. You're the people that create the monster in Kenya because you enable her behavior. She needs help. Yeah. She needs help. And we're here with a doctor, and we're armchair psychologists ourselves,
I have a psychology degree, thank you very much, and a social work degree.
I know we're not a PhD, right? But it's okay. I don't have one either, but I'm gonna still give my opinion on Kenya. I'm not Dr. Wendy. I don't have a PhD, but we can still make observations on her behavior, call it out. She is on a show. She's a public figure. It's not hate and it's not bias. These are all factual things. And look, Plez is a Kenya fan. She's Team Twirl. And even Plez is pointing out things in Kenya's character that are flawed. And there's nothing wrong with that. But
no, because Plez is a realist. I do this regularly with my real friends. This is how I expect my friends to be with me. I don't just uphold you in any and everything. Like I said before, somebody said something about, you like her. She's so mean and nasty. Yes, when she's not being mean and nasty, she's funny as hell. She is a girl's girl. Whenever she's with the girls that she likes, she has fun. She wants to be childish and sing and dance. She does all the things that I like. And, she can toot her own horn to a certain extent because she's beautiful. She is gorgeous. I don't know if y'all saw her reel or whatever for the whole let me walk thing for TikTok. The girl is bad,
Yeah,
and when she's
sexy.
on her P's and Q's, she's on her P's and Q's.
Yes,
That's why she's been on the show this long. That's why people wanted her back. That's why people like her. And even if you don't like her, you love to hate her. And without her, RHOA would be in the trash right now. I mean, and even with her, it's still in the trash. It's not good right now. It's just not. So without her stirring up something, there's nothing else to watch.
I want to pull Schoolboy back into this conversation. Schoolboy, what are your thoughts? Or have you checked out on the Kenya conversation?
It's not that I haven't checked out. I say this. I've been where Kenya's been, and I understand what the work that it takes. But you got to wake up in the mirror one day and say, I'm tired. You got to want to stop running from yourself and from your problems. And until Kenya's ready to stop doing what she's doing, we can talk till we blue in the face. She's comfortable with who she is because she does have enablers And with this stan culture that we have, that's really childish. I don't even get into it because I think it's stupid. I don't know who came up with it. People will enable people on social media because they think, oh, they being real. Let me tell you something. When you're being real, you don't have to say you being real because your actions and your energy says that you are real. You don't have to fake nothing. Kenya's not comfortable with her. So therefore, you're never going to get the real her because she don't know how to be vulnerable with her feelings. You have to go back to the childhood you. You have to stand in the mirror and you have to address it. You have to heal it. You have to feel it and you have to let it go. Because that is the only way you are even going to get to the next stage to be able to be a better person, to even attract like, or to even get growth. Until Kenya does that, for me, I just take her for what she is. This is what you show me, whether you say this is a character or not, whether you say this is acting or not. You're too comfortable doing it. So that lets me know this is no longer a character. This has become a part of you. And this is a piece of you that comes out that you use as a character and as a tool to make your money. Now, don't get me wrong. I ain't never mad at nobody that knocked their hustle.
Mm-hmm.
But understand how far you want to go morally for your money and the type of person. Because remember, you have a daughter. And no matter how long this TV show stays on or don't, the archives will always be there. Her daughter can always click onto the internet and pull it up and see, oh, well, mommy was doing this and mommy was doing that. So you have to understand, once you become a public figure and you have kids, you need to start being an example, not only to your own kids, because unfortunately nowadays kids don't have always a two-parent household, like Playa said, where there's two productive adults that are there that show them a good example of what love is and what a family is. But you have to learn how to break that curse and teach yourself unconditional love, because women set the tone, men set the tone. You set the tone of how someone treats you. So if you love yourself, then a person coming in to deal with you, oh, they know either I'm gonna step up or I'm gonna get gone. But as long as you keep playing back to placating to that child mode, which I feel she does with Marc, she goes back to that little kid that she regresses, and as soon as he yells, she's back and she's scared and she don't say nothing and she holds her tongue. He has been the only person I've ever seen her hold her tongue with. A woman, she don't do that with, but with him, she does that with. So that further tells me not only is you got mama issues, you got daddy issues too. And so this is all whirled up into one thing. I do feel sorry for her as a human being, and I really do want her to get the help that she needs. But at 50, I don't think it's honestly gonna happen.
Women who have mommy issues go through that a lot, though. They have combative relationships with other women, and then they're very submissive and subservient to men.
Yes.
It stems from the rejection. She already is getting over here, so she's going to go through hell and high water to make this work. If that means dumbing herself down, that's what she's going to do, because she doesn't want another failed relationship, a failed marriage. She wants love. She just, is not in a place to receive it because she can't confront her own demons, as you already said before. Until she does that, it'll be a cycle till she's 60, 70, 80. It is what it is.
Oh, that's so sad. Seymour says, thank you so much for the super chat. Parental alienation syndrome, PAS, is real. As a matter of fact, Catherine Dennis's daughter suffers from that, and she's 5. It's so sad. But anyway, Kenya better be careful. It could cost her custody. I don't think Brooklyn, I don't know, because Kenya was very close to Brooklyn when she was born. I don't see Brooklyn suffering from that. But Brooklyn may suffer from other things that Kenya may afflict on her, So, but I don't see that part, because that's something that kind of occurs early on too. From the time the child is born, the mother they don't do the skin to skin, and they just ignore the child. But I don't think Kenya and Brooklyn went through that. Do y'all?
No.
What you're saying is very true. There is a physiologic response when mom and baby have skin-to-skin contact. There are literally hormones in the body that are released. And there's some studies that show that the baby's brains don't develop as well, and their social cognitive abilities are not the same if they don't have that skin on skin contact or have that immediate like touching and contact early on in development. So that, I mean, that is 100% very accurate, like medically.
Right.
You know, I just wanted to piggyback on something Schoolboy said about the inner work. I hate to reference back to another show, Real Housewives of Potomac, but what you're saying is excellent. The person that showed me a lot of growth on that show and that inner work is Monique.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they tried to cut her out, and she cried several times. She cried several times. Number one, she went to a therapist. She went to her pastor, cried in every single one of those sessions. And honestly, a very small point I've always wanted to bring up. People have made an issue about this song. And I have to just say, kudos to her, because the song was for her. It was not for anybody else, period. And in therapy, the therapists do recommend journaling, and that was her form of journaling, and that helped her process it, period. The whole song is not necessarily about Candace. It's not 100% about the fight, but it's about her processing her emotions. Maybe she felt justified at the time and then later remorseful. That's separate. But I wanted to commend her for doing that, because it's easy to say, oh, yeah, I'll do the assignment. No, she did it. She did it in her own way, in her own terms, that brings her healing and taps into her own spirit. There's a lot of psychologists and therapists, and even, of course, also physicians that say, you know what, sometimes we forget what actually brings us joy because we're so distracted. But it's important to go back to the 10-year-old version of you. Like, what would you want to do on a Saturday afternoon? That's the true you.
Yep.
Maybe she liked to sing, clearly she's a performer and all that stuff. So I just wanted to point that out. I want to see something like that with Kenya. I think she has moments when she talked about her prior domestic violence. Portia, she shares her struggles through, her marriage, and she's clearly just trying to figure it out and is being vulnerable. But again, that self-work is hard, but I commend the women that are willing to do it publicly. And I mean, look at the benefit that Portia has.
Yeah, absolutely. Dr. Ivy, do you want to hang out with us for the remainder of the show? Would you like that?
Sure.
Awesome. It's a nice treat. So next, moving on from Kenya, you know what? We just need to pray for that sister, because we do want the best for her. At the end of the day, she's part of our family, our extended family, and we only want to see her heal, because it's sad to see her the way she is now. And as a result of the way she is now, the decisions that she makes and all the repercussions of those decisions. So we want the best for her. So let's just keep Kenya in our prayers and, uplift her. So up next, moving on, is Kandi Burruss shading Kenya Moore and LaToya's friendship. According to Kandi, Kenya barely knows LaToya. Kandi says while some of the girls were upset, she's not jealous, but she really didn't appreciate the whole private jet thing and Kenya bringing Brooklyn. She, again, went on her speak on it, and I'll play that video. Let me just share my screen here, and we can watch it together. Y'all see that?
Yeah.
All right, let me make it full screen so you can do that.
Let's start there, okay? Barely knows LaToya. Now, all of a sudden, she want to do trips with LaToya, put it together.
So I have arranged for us to fly private.
Now she want to go get private jets, invite LaToya to go on the jet with her. That was very interesting. Now, mind you, some people were very upset about the whole private jet situation, especially because we was riding on the bus.
It's COVID. How y'all getting there?
The bus was hot, okay? It was very hot.
Y'all got to get there.
But to be clear, I was not jealous about no private jets. I wanted that to be understood, because I've never even been on a damn private jet, and I definitely wasn't going to be spending no extra money to go on a private jet to South Carolina. Was not going to do it. Call me cheap if you want to. I don't give a damn. I wasn't finna do it. She could at least let us know. Give us a heads up. Tell somebody. Give us an option. Say something. Yeah, you decided that was what you wanted to do with your new friend, Latoya.
Latoya and I are going to go ahead of all of you guys
and keep it a secret from us. Which I thought it was extra funny because the prior week when we was at the foundation event, when they came to Candy Cares and we all had went to sit down for lunch for a little while, I believe it was Portia had brought up, maybe we should talk to Fallon about using her private jet because Fallon is rich, and she got her own private jet.
Oh, then we need to call Fallon. She owns her own plane.
Kenya was kind of like clowning a little bit, like saying, how you just gonna be asking people to use their private jet? You gonna be going out asking her to bring up private jet? Like she was doing all of that about the private jet. So to go from that to secretly going and getting your own private jet and not even telling us to give us the option to get a private jet was a little shady. And then it was a little awkward to find out about it.
It's COVID. How y'all getting there? I got a twirl, honey. Yes.
But okay. Now she did mention Kenya this entire year basically has had issues with finding like reliable childcare or whatever, like people that she trusts to help her with her child. You know, her whole thing is she wanted to bring Brooklyn on the trip. Now that was another thing she did not tell nobody, but that's a whole nother.
The audio went out, Monica.
About that. Thank you.
Bringing, you know, giving Latoya.
I'll rewind a little bit.
Like reliable childcare or whatever, like people that she trusts to help her with her child. You know, her whole thing is she wanted to bring Brooklyn on the trip. Now that was another thing she did not tell nobody, but that's a whole nother sidebar. Her thing that we found out later was that she wanted to take this jet so that she can comfortably bring Brooklyn and the nanny on the trip. And I guess that would leave an extra seat because I guess it was a 4-seater jet. I don't know. You know, it was a small plane, so she was bringing, you know, giving Latoya the other option since Latoya was her co-host on this trip. It seemed like Latoya was the co-host, especially since she had the second biggest room.
COVID. How y'all getting there?
At Drew's house. I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but I had to address that first because that was the first thing that was brought up when, you know, Latoya and Kenya went to lunch.
I have arranged for us to fly private.
I don't know. I mean, I love Latoya and Kenya's friendship. Don't get me wrong. The thing that I love about it the most is that Kenya doesn't really make a lot of new friends. It's like she doesn't like to cling to new people easily or quickly. But the fact that they, you know, made this connection so fast was something that I really liked, especially because I was the one who introduced Latoya to the group. But I was just sitting there like, well, damn, you know, met Latoya and I kicked the rest of us to the curb.
Yes, sexy hot mama teas in
That's
here.
what it's like. That's what it be like.
You damn invite me on the damn private jet. Ain't gonna damn invite Latoya.
All right, y'all. I don't know. Candy sounding a little jealous if you ask me.
Does.
Pledge, sound off. What are your thoughts?
I wanted interpersonal relationships with women to grow beyond high school. And I'm always disappointed because I feel like a lot of people never mature beyond high school. When I was in school, I worked at Home Depot on the weekends. Child, ain't no silver spoons over here. So at first I thought, oh, it's just like this because I'm working retail. Then my first legal job, it was the same thing. Then I went into another legal job, a law firm, same thing. And now I work the government and it's the same thing. I just want people to be secure in themselves, to know what their connection is with the person and be fine with that. Don't be so intimidated when another person comes in. And Kandi, that whole video sounded salty, baby. She had all of the Mortons, Himalayan salt, all of the Red Sea salt, baby. She had all of it pouring out. And I don't understand why, because Kandi is very reserved until she's not. It's not like she's the turn up queen. So if I wanted to pick a one-on-one person to go with, I would pick the person who I have the most fun with. And as we just talked about with Kenya, her personality is someone who craves attention.
Yeah.
Toya is borderline, I don't even know if I want to say borderline, but Toya moved to the adoration category. She is laying it on thick with Kenya more. I actually wish Kenya was a little more guarded with her, because I don't think Toya's intentions are pure. I think she's riding her coattails, honestly, but because Kenya loves to be worshipped, she doesn't see that for what it is. However, she's a grown woman. You got to let her learn that on her own. So I don't know why Kandi seemed to be so bothered about that. I said in one of my earlier comments that I knew the reason Kenya went separately was because, again, she don't have the money that these other girls have. She also does not have the familiar support. Portia has Dennis and her mama and her sister and everybody to help with PJ, and can afford a nanny if she needed it. Kandi has Grandma Joyce and however many other people, all the other OLGs and anybody else, Carmen and Don Juan. She got everybody who can watch Ace and Blaze, and she picks up and leaves those children all the time. So she better not try to act like it's a big thing for her, because she's always galloping all over the country and leaving those children. She even said Ace was so sad about Riley because Riley was a second mother to him. So, you know, I do agree that she should have told them, and she should have made it very clear, this is your option on your own coin. On your own coin, you can get a private jet, you can bring all the nannies you want to, but I won't be covering it or paying for it. And I do think she should have offered them that, but I think this is production trickery, because they do this all the time. They did it with Monique in RHOP when she upgraded one of the ladies and herself to first class. They did it before with the Nene flying in from somewhere. Like, they do this all the time. Again, it's becoming one trick pony because they do this all the time. I don't think that was Kenya. I think that was production telling her not to tell them. Because why? True Kenya wouldn't have even told Drew.
Yeah.
So I think all of that was puppet strings.
Mm-hmm.
Something, it's provocative. It gets the people going, child.
Mm-hmm. Schoolboy, sound off. What are your thoughts on Kandi being shady? I'm used to Kandi being shady now, but this might be new to other people.
Dad, Kandi, you that damn rich and you ain't never fly a private jet. I mean, shit, if I was that damn rich, I would fly a private jet. What? Shoot, we going to Maldives or somewhere. Me and Bay is going somewhere. I mean, ain't no way I'm not going to have that money at least one time in my life. Do it. But it's just like Kandi one of them people that, yeah, you know you rich. We know you cheap about it. And that's cool. That's why you always have money. That's how rich people keep their money, they cheap. But why do you care so much? Yes, I do agree with players. Kenya should be a little bit alarmed about how LaToya is a little bit too eager to be friends with her that swiftly, because something about old girl ain't right to me. I still ain't figured out her energy. To me is something wrong over there. But of course, Kenya likes that attention. Marc don't care, so she just wants somebody to pay attention to her and love her. And so she's just kind of like, oh, someone likes me, and so she likes that. Kandi, come on. Kandi is old too. She almost 52. And I really want her to grow up too. Because this is ridiculous. You are never with, and I like that comment. She is never with her children. Okay, Todd be having them kids more than she do.
Yeah.
I have seen his Instagram. He has Ace and Blaze more than she does. She is never with her children. So what does it matter that you didn't get to fly the private jet with them? Who cares? Who cares, Kandi? And if it was that pressing, you could have got one. You could have got one. Yeah, they all could have got on Fallon's jet if they really wanted to do that. But I do believe it was a production ploy. They had to have a plot line. If you notice, they're using Kenya to reach and pick and prod at everybody. And it's not working with like Portia, because Portia pays her dust. She's an OG. She knows how this works. You're not going to get under my skin like that. She can't really flex with Kandi too much because she knows Kandi is close to production and they like this. So she's not going to jack with her, but too much. Cynthia, she's going to give her a little bit of shade. You know, of course, she's going to haze Drew because she just don't like Drew. So she's going to make it a point to pick with her. But they just reaching. I mean, I could just tell the whole season they're reaching, and it's really cringy to watch. But I really think Kandi need to get over it. You got the money, Kandi. And if you said it ain't a big deal, you ain't gonna play. I'm not gonna find no private jet to no South Carolina. Then shut up. Why are you talking about it?
Well, clearly it is a big deal. That's why she's talking about it.
Right. It's
and I don't think the private jet's the issue. The issue is Kenya not inviting her on the private jet. That's the issue.
Are they having sex or what? Does it matter?
Well, Kandi's a narcissist, and she's used to getting all the attention, and she considers herself to be the head bitch in charge of that show. So Kandi should have gotten first pick in her mind, not this newbie off the street. Bishop, your thoughts?
My thoughts is win the season up so we can throw Kandi out the show. I'm with Fles on this. Y'all a little too old for these tit for tat relationships as grown women. It's getting really ridiculous at this point. And Kandi to me is could we replace Kandi with Mama Joyce? Mama Joyce brings it every time. You know what I mean? Can we have Kandi as a friend of the show to Mama Joyce adjacent? You know what I mean? Because I'm really getting sick of Kandi. She can bring Don Juan until Jesus comes back. Don Juan can't save you, Kandi. You're done. You know what I mean? And Don Juan is annoying anyway. So I personally wouldn't want to keep seeing him anyways. You know. But it's interesting that she's jealous. She sounds like Cynthia. Cynthia was jealous too. She just met her and she already invited her to her house. Cynthia, are we at Lake Bailey? I thought so. You invited Drew over to your house. Kudos to you. You met her at your winery doing the proposal. So you didn't know that lady as long as well as you didn't know her that long either. So why are we people playing these childish games?
I introduced y'all. That's so hard. What?
Mm-hmm.
You know how many people I introduced and I was introduced to somebody else. We meshed up better than the person that introduced us because we were just Kendrick Spears. Now, the reason why she's Kendrick Spears with LaToya, like I said on the whiteboard speaks, is that LaToya is Marc with a vajayjay. That's the only difference. Only difference. You know what I mean? They come from the same background, the same culture. That's Marc with some braids in her head. That's it. Because she got that same sociopath attitude like Marc does. You know what I mean? They love taking on wounded people.
Mm-hmm.
And they're always the dominant top one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Y'all notice that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we know Kandi likes to get down like that, right? Anthony Green, thank you so much for the Cash App. Never forget, LaToya was Kandi's friend. Kandi brought LaToya into the circle, but it got cut. Yeah, Kandi, right. She got cut out of the whole. So, again, Kandi, she's the boss of everything. She bosses around that candy-coated clique. she's always in charge. She bosses around Todd. She's the head of the household, so she feels slighted. Kenya should have done that.
Did Kenya take one of Kandi's jump offs? That's what I'm starting to think now. Hey, y'all, it's coming together, y'all. That probably was one of Kandi's, invite guests, and she took her away, and Kenya took her away, because that's why Kenya's so enamored by LaToya. Send her all them nude pictures, and every time she's talking about she feels sexy when she around LaToya.
Like, I understand being possessive of your friends. I'm possessive of my friends. However, my pride is bigger than all of that, baby. I ain't gonna never ask you to choose, make you choose. I don't like sharing my friends. However, I'm an adult and I realize that we have to share. And if I want one-on-one time with my friend, I say, friend, I want this to just be me and you today. I don't want everybody else around. I want us to have girl time. But to try to regulate because I introduced you, girl, bye. Well, we got to ask you, can we exchange phone numbers too?
But players, are you sleeping with your friends?
Not like that. No. Now the male one.
Dr. EBA, what are your thoughts on Kandi, standing her ground? She should have been on the private jet. Kenya didn't ask her. What are your thoughts?
At least she's being honest. I think it's good to be upfront with your friends about how you're actually feeling. I think it's not about the money or the status. I think it's just more of a, like, are we good? Because you also have to think about it. Like, they have spent, I guess, 8 years building a friendship, and it's not an easy friendship to be with Kenya. And so I think it's not just sharing friends, but I think it's also the energy cost that she's invested in this friendship that LaToya just kind of has not had to put that same amount of energy into, seemingly. I mean, obviously they just met, it seems. And the other thing is, I really do think like Kenya lights up and is energized just because LaToya, she's unique, she's different. She is to some extent a liberated woman. She really is. Like, despite the fact that she's having issues in her marriage, they have commonalities, like kind of an estranged marriage, young children, both beautiful. Beauty is their brand, is their currency. But LaToya is a liberated woman, kind of says what's on her mind, and I think is kind of reinvigorating probably parts of Kenya that she wishes she may have, like kind of being unapologetic. LaToya doesn't really care what anyone else thinks. She'll say what's on her mind. That's my opinion. So I wasn't surprised. If you hit it off with someone, that's fine. That's great. That's good. But I think I would be a little bit like, what's going on? After everything I've done for you, it's not a tit, it shouldn't be a quid pro quo, but I can understand a little bit where Kandi's coming from and the others.
I just look at the entertainment aspect of it. Could you imagine her and Cynthia sitting down on their private jet?
No.
They would have been doing crossword puzzles.
Yeah.
Kandi too. They would have been on IG all day. Yeah. You needed the kickback girl.
Mm-hmm. LaToya is fun. Appears to be fun, yeah.
There's something about her that rubs me the wrong way. There's something about LaToya that makes me uncomfortable. It's in, I don't know if it's her puffy face or just something in the delivery of how she speaks that bothers me. I don't know. I'm gonna get to the bottom of it now, and then when I do, I'll share my opinion. But there is something about her I don't like. It seems disingenuous. You know what it is? Oh yeah. Do y'all remember before the season started? She started this fake fight with Nene on the internet, and then Nene posted the receipts showing that she was innocent. And LaToya backed off. She accused Nene of getting her aunt fired from some TV job, but it turned out the aunt was a groupie and showed up at work when she wasn't supposed to be there, hanging around Nene's dressing room. I didn't like that. And then I see her on the show, and There's something very methodic and slow about her delivery and the way she speaks that bothers me a lot. I don't know.
It reminds you of Pastor Holior. They're very careful with their words, and it's very seductive. She is very seducing when she speaks. I be have to like get thee behind me, say, not when I fall for your trickery, because I be listening to her. I be low key intrigued. I'm like, she talks like, I'm like, there's a serpent behind that. I'm like, nah, go somewhere with that.
And Kenya's supposed to be her friend, but when Marlo shaded Kenya in Cynthia's kitchen, she laughed. You know, like that kind of shadiness I don't like about her. There's something about her. Cloud chaser, she screams to me, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, she came in too hot. She's trying too hard to fit in.
Absolutely. All right, y'all. Y'all want to move on from Kandi, Kenya, and RHOA? Up next is DaniLeigh, this new light-skinned, well, she's not even light-skinned, she's Dominican rapper who caused an uproar on the internet this weekend. DaniLeigh previewed an upcoming single that she just debuted, and it was called Yellow Bone. Okay, I'll pull up a picture of Miss DaniLeigh. Here she is. She's a pretty girl, but yeah, that's her right there. She's not black. So now, as a non-black female, she's a person of color. She's Latina. Does she have the right to call herself a yellow bone, which in the black community, we refer to as a high yellow female, a light-skinned female? Does she have that right? And then she was using the song to taunt a dark-skinned woman. She was using the song to taunt her new boyfriend, the baby. Here he is right here. His baby mama, Mimi, who is dark-skinned. Yellow bone is what he wants. Yellow bone is what he wants. I wanted to slap her. Yellow bone's what he wants, but I wanted to slap her. That's what I wanted to do. Thoughts before I play her apology, because I mean, they dragged her from here to Kingdom Come over the weekend. Okay, she got canceled. She had to delete her Instagram account. It was bad. It was really, really bad. Plaz, what are your thoughts?
Well, it's divisive, and it's divisive on purpose. You know, I'm starting to learn that a lot of these younger, and when I say younger, I guess I'll say 25 and under people, I don't know if their parents didn't do it. We know the schools don't do it, but part of it begins with people not knowing their history. These kids really don't know the extent of what the civil rights movement did, the extent of Black Americans in America, particularly because she's not a Black American. She may not have fully known why she was going to get drugged like that. But so many people try to use this like reverse racism type thing to say, well, I should be able to be proud in who I am too. And you can, but being proud in who you are should never be an attack on someone else. And just the history in this country, and actually around the world, is that the closer to white you are, you're right. And the closer to dark you are, you're bad, you're ugly, or you're, so it was just, it's so much tied up into that. And with rap, it's so pervasive. And I'm a lighter skinned person. When I went to Xavier, somebody in my hometown told me I was going to the college where the slave master's daughter went, and Dillard was the college where the slaves' daughters went. And I was like, oh my God, like, why would you tell me that? I was like 18. And so I'm like one of the only light-skinned people in my family. My sister and my mother are very dark, and it always bothered me. I actually wanted to be like them. I love dark skin. I think it's beautiful. I've never seen a dark skinned person with acne. Like, think about it, y'all. Y'all have never seen a dark skinned person with like bad skin. Their skin is always glowing and smooth. Baby, I look like a road map at night. It's like you can see veins and all of this stuff. And I'm like, I love I want a nice, smooth, dark complexion. The melanin is beautiful, and I just want us to accept each other and not buy into these stereotypes. Lil Wayne, going to school in New Orleans is very prevalent in New Orleans. People would, let you know if they were Creole or not. Lil Wayne says it in one of his songs, "Beautiful Black Woman. I bet that chick," I'll say the word chick, "I bet that chick looks better red." I remember hearing that lyric, like, what are you doing? You have a dark-skinned daughter. And he still to this day says stuff like that and promotes his preference. So the issue is not necessarily having a preference. It's one, ignorantly voicing your preference, and two, using your preference to divide our women. We're all beautiful. And a lot of these men, DaniLeigh is doing all of this, but I always tell women who buy into this narrative, y'all's genes mix when you have children. And sometimes one person's genes are more dominant. So when you get with a man like that, think about what will happen if you have a daughter who looks like him. And think about the self-hatred that man will constantly be pumping into his own child, because he will favor mommy and the other lighter skinned children if there are other lighter skinned children.
Yeah.
So it is on us to break these chains and to stop this nonsense. So I'm glad she got drugged. I hope she continues to get drugged. I hope anybody else who thinks about doing this will get drugged as well. Like, let's cut this out, y'all. We're all beautiful in our own ways.
Yeah. You know what? Betty makes a great point. She goes, she's from the DR. She's very familiar with colorism. I have to agree. People in the Dominican Republic, there's a lot of racism that goes on there because of the whole, the island. It's one piece of land, right? And it's just divided by a border. It's Haiti and there's Dominican Republic. Dominican Republic at one point in history threw out all the dark-skinned people into Haiti because they don't want to be identified with African genes or African ancestry at all. And as a matter of fact, at one point, they were making it a crime if you had an ounce of Haitian blood in you. They were like, arresting you and locking you up and kicking you over to back to Haiti, ripping you from your families. There's a lot of racism that goes on in the Dominican Republic. DaniLeigh is very familiar with that. I'm not buying she didn't understand the cultural context of Yellow Bone. She's full of it. She really, really is. She wanted to hurt Mimi, and Mimi being a dark-skinned woman, she knew that would get to her. But it backfired. Schoolboy, share your thoughts on, DaniLeigh and this whole situation she's got herself into.
Well, currently dating someone who was actually told by a man that she was too dark for him at the age of 14. She actually told me that story and it actually made me cry. He told her that, I like you, but I can't date you because if we had babies, our babies would be too dark. And so I'm going to go ahead and date the Latino chick, which he did wind up marrying a Latino woman whose family can't stand him because he's Black. So, see how that karma comes into you. But I see it a lot. And here's the thing. 50 Cent and Lil Wayne got on their podcast and talked about it. And they said one thing that really poignant stuck out to me. They said, if I have a dark-skinned woman, then anybody in the hood can have that. But if I show up with a racially ambiguous woman, she's exotic. She's different. She wouldn't be dealing with me if I didn't have what I have and who I am. She's something that's unattainable when you just the regular dude. When you the man, she's more obtainable. She looks good on your arm. So it comes with the thing for me is that a lot of times young guys are bred to believe that from the home environment that, you don't want no dark kids. You get get you a white woman or get you a racially ambiguous woman so that you can have kids with good hair, as they say, or pretty skin, or they're more passable, their life will be a lot better because they won't be dark. So you think about what that does psychologically to a dark-skinned woman to hear those things, or men, you know that men have those conversations about things like that. And then you got to think about too, Black men pump women like her up to believe that they are better than a Black, dark-skinned Black woman. And they create that narrative and they keep that narrative going. So unfortunately, it's one, generational. Two, you're telling them, hey, you will have a better option in life if you have this sort of woman on your line, on your arm, because when it comes to you having a business deal or you trying to get here or get there, she's more acceptable in the world color-wise because she fits the European opinion of what they should look like. And so it's really sad. She did that for clout and she capped. The bad part about it was she got backlash, and I saw them dragging her on Black Twitter. I mean, they tore her up from the rooter to the tutor. But the thing about this cancel culture mess is it ain't gonna cancel her because she's still gonna get coin. She's still gonna get money. And it's just a bunch of BS. You can't cancel something that's already in the culture. My issue with it is that my generation, millennials, Gen Zers, need to break the cycle and stop all of this mess that we see that's perpetuated, that's saying that, oh, if she dark skinned and she's not beautiful. I don't care what shade she is. She's a Black woman. She's beautiful. But you, like I said, you got Black men that put these women on a pedestal and say they are better. Oh, because she don't do this or she don't do that, or Black women do this. I mean, the Migos named their group the Migos. Why? Because they don't like Black women. Most people don't know that. And most of the time, these rappers don't even let dark-skinned women in their section. So it's not just it's the whole responsibility of the entire community. For me, it's upsetting to see that, because at the end of the day, there's a lot of Black women that are walking around here hurt and feel like nobody loves them, or they can't attract a Black man because the good ones are all taken in their eyes by them, or they don't want us because we're dark.
Very well said. Very well said. Nedra, thank you so much for the super chat. She says, yep, and that skin will crack and droop right on your arm. Nedra girl. We shouldn't be laughing. It's not. Dr. Ivy, Bishop, you so bad. Dr. Ivy, chime in. What are your thoughts on, DaniLeigh and thinking she could actually play, do this to Black culture and get away with it in broad daylight? The nerve.
Yeah, again, we've talked about this. America is changing, and we're not going to be accepting a lot of things that we let slide at this point. Like I said, we're literally in a Renaissance period. I think Black people are trying to claim ownership of their lives, their mental health, their overall health, and the way that they think and the way they approach life. And this is really just not acceptable at this point. I think DaniLeigh, she is a beautiful girl. I am in support of women using songs or their artistry to talk about their own identity. But to use the term yellow bone specifically has a specific connotation. I've heard of red bone. I'm assuming it's essentially the same thing. But
yes.
I think it's not, she's not talking about her experience as a biracial woman. She's not talking about, oh, I miss this man. There's a very specific, nasty, in my opinion, nasty association with this term. And I think it is meant to invoke hurt. Because I think it highlights that this aesthetic of this light skin is like, this is the crown jewel, this is the top, and everyone else is trash. And that can do a lot to, dark-skinned women. I mean, it's hard for women in general, but especially dark-skinned women in this country. We're dealing with a lot. I do know that in other countries, Black women can be looked at as exotic, by the way. I just want to throw that out there. It may not be in our neighborhoods. It may not be in the white neighborhoods. Now, there's a difference between, you know, being seen as pretty and gorgeous versus fetishism. And I want to make that distinction. Of course, I think we, you know, like a song comes on and you're with all your friends, you know, your coworkers, and they're expecting you to start twerking. No, like I'm at work function. You know, I think we do get those pressures that I just don't want us to confuse being, you know, honored for our beauty is one thing versus, you know, being sexually, you know, like a sexual fantasy. Those are two different things. But it just kind of reminds, we've seen this over and over again. I've seen it, and I'm not even that into all the social media stuff, but since Santana got in trouble, that lady from Love and Hip Hop, she made some things, and what she said might be true in her experience, that she is catered to, but just be very careful about what you're the impact of what you're saying. That's number one. And then we saw this play out. I don't know if you guys see the show Basketball Wives. This whole comment with, did you see Evelyn Lozada? I'm sorry. These shows are so interesting. Yeah. She's like 2008, you know, or whatever, 2012. Like, she was shocked I think she was shocked
that he would actually go for a woman like OG. Yeah, that's what it was mainly about. Like, excuse me, you are not even his type, right? Mm-hmm.
All his kids are my color.
Did she see his kids that she met up with? Chocolate. Yeah. All his kids are chocolate.
Right, all of them. Yeah.
You know, can I speak on this? I have a I don't like DaniLeigh's. That record she was trying to put out was trash, garbage, you know, triple toilet paper. You know what I mean? I'm like, if you're at least gonna insult somebody, insult it to where it can reach the charts. But you know, come to find out, she's Euro Latina. She's not Afro Latina. And they showed a picture of her parents. They dragged her to Kingdom Come. They brought out all her old Instagram pictures when she had straight hair. She put an S-curl kit in her hair to make a curl. Now,
that's her parents right there. Yeah.
Right. Anybody look Afro Latino or Afro Latina in that family?
No.
Not at all. And this is what I have a problem with: other people from other communities stepping in and overstepping their boundaries. Okay, you got the man, but you're going to disrespect that could be your stepchild. You're disrespecting their mother. So what are you saying? So were you trying to say that the child that he had with his baby mamas is every time? I don't know if it's a girl or a boy he had with the baby mama, but if it's a girl, you basically saying that every time she want to get a potential suitor, a suitor would prefer a yellow bone rather than her. So that's what you're saying about a child that came from him, your man. So this is what I tell brothers and sisters, because B. Simone's the one that pumped her head up to do this. Let's be for real about this. And B. Simone is the one that actually gassed her up to make her come on. Yes. B. Simone's like, oh, these Latin women come out the womb just sexy. First of all, that's fetishizing the child, which is weird. And you have the nerve to say this is why Latin women are better than black women. This is a black woman saying this. This ain't a black man. This ain't little baby saying this. This is a black woman saying it. So this stuff is in the home, and this is how black girls see themselves, and this is how little black boys see themselves. Their mother say, "Don't bring no woman home that's too dark." I've heard this in families. I remember my mom said about one of my uncles, "I have everything a white man wants: money and a white woman." And then that white woman left him. You know, he got hooked on drugs, and when he went through his rehab program, he ended up marrying a black woman and still with her till this day. So, you know, people need to understand that people are people, no matter what skin you slap on them. You know, a woman is still a woman at the end of the day. You can try and say, oh, this is why this group is better. This is why the group is better. Now, if you're talking about traditions and cultures, that's one thing. But you minusculed all the way down to a future, which is color. That to me is goofy. It doesn't make any sense. And when I hear men and women do it, I'll be like, both of y'all are stupid, because I've seen ugly in any skin tone. All skin tones I've seen ugly. I seen a light-skinned ugly woman, and I seen some ugly dark-skinned women. What is your point? I don't get that. What are you trying to say? Because you can change. You can make a person get a tan. If they ugly, they just still ugly. I don't know what we're trying to do. You know, you're just not a cute person. It is what it is. and that's why I laughed at Evelyn Lozada. She's like, huh? He what? See, they couldn't edit out her facial expressions. I know the editing room tried, and they're like, Evelyn, we got bad news. You was too expressive, and we could not wipe out how you looked when OG showed the messages to you. Because anybody can delete messages, but if you have the originals, it is what it is. So it to me, I don't get why people don't understand this. It does not matter. And quite frankly, to me, the baby mom looked better than DaniLeigh. In my opinion, she looks way better. I'm like, brother, what did you do? From when I heard Quiet as a Kept, she got rid of him. Now,
oh, okay.
Sip on that.
But ladies, at this point in these kinds of relationships, at least between a man and a woman, ladies, you are the prize.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. Like, stop. You're singing about a man that didn't he snatch up his baby, the child of his mother? Is that it? Or did he slap somebody?
That's the Javante.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
That's that box.
They're both.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but didn't he slap a woman or punched her in the club? That's what you're going for? No, that's not the prize. And I'm not, and you know, there may have been a situation. I don't know what happened with that, but he's not he don't want you. He want me. No. He's not the prize. You shouldn't be, you are the prize as the lady, and get it straight.
I know.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, doctor. I know what you're trying to say.
Let me go ahead and play.
I don't know. I can't speak for nobody. Look, when I step up in the room, I step up in the scene. I own that room. So
you're right. Yeah, but you're gonna approach the woman that you want, correct?
Oh yeah, and I've been approached too. And
okay.
And I said, hey girl, hey, what's up?
Yeah, that's it. That's good. But that means you know what
Let's
you're
be together.
Okay, let me go ahead and play Dani's apology, her so-called apology, which just pissed me off even more. Let me go ahead and play that.
Hey guys, it's DaniLeigh, and I just wanted to address what's going on with me right now. I think it's super important because I definitely feel misunderstood. Like, I feel like my song Yellow Bone Is What He Want got the world raffled into thinking I said that's what the world wants. Like, no, like, I just speaking on my man, that's what he wants, that's what he has. Like, when I make music, I'm in the studio vibing, turning up, happy as fuck. Like, I'm just making music. It was cool. Like, it was just to turn me up real quick. That's how I make music. Like, it wasn't really meant to be something that people took so deeply. And I understand, like, colorism is a real thing. And I guess you could say I wasn't as knowledgeable in that topic, but I wasn't thinking so deeply into it when I was making this song. And it's like, also, I see a lot of brown skin women making music about their skin types. And it's like, why can't I? Like, you see me, I'm light skinned. I consider myself a yellow bone. That's my definition of it. That's just how I felt at the time. It wasn't even a song I released. I just made a trailer. I was wearing all yellow. I had yellow hair. I was like, ooh, it's cute. Let me make a trailer real quick. I didn't think it was going to blow over like that at all. And then to call me a colorist, to call me a racist is like, yo, how? I'm dating a whole chocolate man. I have beautiful melanin friends. Like, it's like, y'all really took it there when it's like, nah, like, let's, It's not about that. That's not where I was coming from. I don't see my skin as a privilege. I've never looked at myself as better than anybody, more superior. It wasn't even about that. It was just me making a cocky ass song like, I'm sorry, like I offended you guys. Like it was not my intention at all. And you know, yeah, I know you guys don't know me. That's why I felt like it was important to get on here and speak, so at least you can feel me and hear my voice. Speak on it, because I was going to write something up, but I was like, nah, let me just speak on it so y'all could feel me. So, yes, I'm sorry, and hopefully this is something we can get past. I hope everybody has a great Sunday, and yeah, God bless.
She needs to fire her whole team. They failed her. They let her down. That right there to me was a disgrace, and I have so many issues with it. Issue number one, the choice of hairstyle for me. Are you trying to, do the braids to identify with being Black or a Black culture more? That was an insult to me. That was some Saturday SNL skit stuff. I wasn't down with it at all. Second, she's not Black. Like I said, she's Dominican. She's Latina. And like Bishop said, she's European Latin. She's not Afro-Latina. Okay? And in the mention of the chocolate, a whole chocolate boyfriend, that doesn't give you that. What is that? A card? Somebody wrote you a card. This is okay. Well, that gives you a status because you got some Black in you. That makes you a little Black. No, ma'am.
Can I say something? Can people stop acting like who they sleeping with does not make them partial or not racist or not, like folks, like, let's stop it. There have been some KKK wizards who've been married to Black women. What is you talking about? There are so many racist white women who are married to Black men. What are we talking about, people? Like, because I get some Black D in me, that makes me not a colorist or racist. Excuse me, miss. Just because that's sliding you for like 20 minutes don't make it that don't take away from the person you are. Like, excuse me. Like, it's not gonna save you. Like, really? Come on now.
Nedra, thank you so much for the super chat. Oh, poor Boo. Somebody get this girl a bottle so she can close her mouth. Plez, sound off. What are your thoughts?
I mean, look, she should have just finished the video and said all skin colors matter. Right? That's where she was going with it. She had the rhetoric down, baby. She should have did her a tweet and said, just like they have Blackish and mixed-ish, I'm going to do a TV show called Light-Skinned-ish. I mean, girl.
The fact that you don't see her skin color as privilege is the whole problem within itself.
Well, and this is where, and I know people say I give people excuses, but this is where I do think youth comes into play. Because I know when I was young, I didn't see it as a privilege either, but there becomes a point, either education-wise or just looking around society, you start to see that you are treated differently than other people are treated, and that should strike a chord within you. And that should make you, like I said, my sister, and I'll post on IG later tonight or tomorrow a picture of me and my mom and my sister. I adored my mother and my sister. And to see them treated differently than me, or have people think that I wasn't my mother's child,
that's goofy.
It's like,
wow,
it's craziness. So when you talk about dark-skinned women, it may not affect me, but it affects my sister, my auntie, my cousins, my aunts, my grandmother, women friends that I love. So I take offense to it as well. And as I said before, it's divisive. It's unnecessary in our community for us to divide each other like this. I wasn't as aware, and thank you, Monica, for sharing that about, I've never been to the DR, never been to Haiti. So thank you for sharing that. But as we know, Martin Luther King did a speech talking about how, again, this world has been formulated on purpose to make you think that Black is bad, evil, wrong, all of these things. When you look up white in the dictionary, you see pure. You see all of these things. When you look up black, that's what you associate with it. If we look back, like I said, I have a psychology degree. It's not what I practice, but you can look at these studies that they did from the 60s, and I bet you if they redid those studies in 2021 of little black girls having to pick baby dolls between the white dolls and the black dolls, they would always. And so my mother, you know, I feel bad for our kids, but that's why we need to have these conversations. And that's why it's on us now to teach those who maybe their families don't know. But my mother would never let me get another race doll. You can call it what you want.
Yeah.
But
My mom was
she was an English teacher and a school counselor. So she knew the psyche of it. I had the you know, the brown Cabbage Patch. You can call it, you know, you can say it with you or whatever, but that's what I had. That's what I had to play with. You know, when I got to be maybe 10 or 11, Mattel started coming out with multi-skin color range Barbies. And they had Kenta on for some reason, whatever. But, you know, you could get the light skin or the caramel or the brown. And representation is important.
It is.
You know, so yeah, her apology was not an apology. I go back to what Schoolboy said this weekend about these music industry people. Monica, you give her too much credit. I don't think she has a team.
Everyone's saying that in the comments, and someone
I don't think she has a team. She got no PR person. These people just hop on Instagram Live and do them a quick apology by themselves. She didn't run that by nobody. Please believe she didn't, because like I said, she took all of the cliche phrases that racists use, but use them in defense of colorism. I'm just proud of me. Why can't I, you know, if black people can have black power, why can't I say white power? Because white power is the norm.
Thank you.
Black power or black pride. I don't even want to say power. Pride in who we look like. I can't change how this hair grow out of my head. I mean, I can, but why should I?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to embrace that, and we have to do that for our own communities. And so I want her to grow. I want her to grow from this experience, but I just people get placated too much. And again, it is because of the men that she surrounds herself with. The baby should have been the one to put a stop to that, but he thought it was cute too.
Oh yeah. Schoolboy, sound off. What are your thoughts? You on mute, baby. You on mute.
She could have kept that. She could have kept that. You know, like I said, it's a lot of, like Bishop said earlier, it starts in a home. I watched a TikTok video where young black boys were saying, "Oh, if they knew they was going to the NBA, their parents already told them don't get. Their dads already told them don't get with a black girl, white girl." You know. My cousins went to school and were all-stars track team and stuff. And as soon as you get off the bus, who's standing there? White girls. They point you to them. That's who they tell you to be with. So it's like, unless you have a strong will in your mind that you ain't going to do that, that is what's perpetuated. And that's what's put in front of you. That's what we see on TV. What do you see on Instagram? Every girl on Instagram, what is she? She's mimicking a black woman with her body, her curves, and everything else, but she's not black. We perpetuate that. And so what does that tell young black girls that are dark skinned or caramel or mocha? It tells them you're not good enough at the way you look, because all they do is go lay on somebody's table to be you. And this man is going to want them more than they want you, but you authentically were made like that with God's hands, but you ain't good enough. There's a problem. And it just don't start with just music. It starts in the homes. It starts in what we see on TV. We need to have better black representation on TV when it comes to the black family. I'm tired of seeing two dark-skinned parents, and then all of a sudden, how they got light-skinned kids? What's going on here? Or a really fair-skinned mom and a dark dad, and then you got these like two kids that are light, and then the rest of them are dark. Look at the Huxtables. I'm sorry. It wasn't, come on. There's just some things that we placate to make others feel comfortable about us, but we're not comfortable with ourselves. Because if we loved ourselves, we wouldn't fall into these traps. And we got to stop that. Yes, the division it's been division since slavery days. It's division in my community. When in LGBTQ, you have specifically some lesbians that do not date Black lesbians. They'll say, oh, I don't date y'all.
Yep.
And I said, why? Oh, because y'all abusive. Y'all, first of all, I don't put my hands on women. Yes, I may date women, and yes, we are the same thing. But I don't put my hands on people because my thing is, if we got to do that, we don't need to be together. That's number one right there. So for me, I feel as though we have perpetuated and kept those things going. And it's not just, oh, you want to get mad and you want to say, oh, you want them to treat us equally. We can't ask them to treat us equally when we don't treat each other equally. We got to clean up what we got going on too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And to speak to what Scuba was saying, my grandmother and grandfather had eight kids, and some of them were light and some of them were dark. If you all looked at them and you put the parents together, you'd be like, oh, that's why y'all all look alike. But if you see them separate, you'd be like, they're siblings. You know what I mean? So we kind of like weird. So I understood the Huxtables mix up like that, because then you've seen the grandfather. And you'd be like, oh, that's where Denise could have got that from. Because there are some grandparents that, you know, kids look more like the grandparents. Like for me, for instance, I'm a split right down the middle of my mom and dad. I got my mom and dad nose. The long part is my dad's nose, and the small part right here is my mom's nose. So when you see my grandfathers, you be like, oh, you look just like your grandfathers on both sides. So it's kind of weird like that when you see the genetic makeup of children. That's why I don't trip off of the whole light skin, dark skin thing when it comes to family members, because it's like that. Like I have a cousin who has the same amount as West African DNA as me, about like 90%, way super light, lighter than Ples. But it's just like that. The DNA comes out like that, and it's just the phenotype, it just be like that sometimes.
Dr. Ivy, do you have any comments? Oh, first of all, shout out to all the Haitians in the house. I saw someone, I'm Haitian, ça passe, right? Vous parlez. And I'm not Haitian, but I know a thing or two. Okay.
Salut.
La bouche. That means out. I had a Haitian girlfriend in college. But listen, Haitians were the first Caribbean nations, I think, period, right? Out of all the African slaves to abolish slavery. They were the first nation to become independent. So shout out to all the Haitians in the chat. We love you, brothers and sisters. Proud of you. Let's take some calls, y'all. Chelsea, you ready to go on? Chelsea, you still there? I know you had your camera on earlier. Hey, take yourself off of mute. Take yourself off of mute. I didn't mean to tell y'all to shut your mouth, but that's all I know. It's fermer la bouche. Chelsea, you're on mute. Take yourself off of mute, baby. Let me see. Okay, there you go. You're good. Yes, we can hear you now.
Hi, y'all. I was so excited to.
Hi.
How's everyone doing?
Good. Chelsea hit me up in my DM today, and she said, Monica, I really want to get on this topic tonight. Please, can I get the link? So you're here, honey. Tell us how you feel about DaniLeigh.
Okay, so let me just tell y'all, I'm a yellow bone. I'm a high yellow myself. I am Black, but I was pissed. Can I say that on YouTube? I was pissed just because when I heard her apology and her not condoning her not seeing her benefit factor, just like Ples, how she said her age and knowing like her youth and stuff, and not seeing, just like how do I say this? Like perks of her getting, or like the benefits of just being light skinned. I feel like for me, myself growing up, I had family members that were dark skinned, and but I wasn't. And growing up, it was you're too light to be, Black, and then I just wanted to fit in, so I just did what was easy, and then growing up, understanding you know, what my privilege is as being light skinned. Like I'm black, you know what I mean? And right now my hair is pressed, you guys, but like schoolboy, I got hair like you. So like I love it. You know what I mean? Like, and that's how I know when you can see the Negro in me. You know what I mean? Like I have skin like my mother, but like when you see my dad, that's how you know. You know, my dad is like the complexion of you, Dr. Ivy. So I was very upset, and to know like her ethnicity and where she comes from. I'm Cape Verdean on my mother's side, and then I'm Black and then Native American on my father's side. So just being from that, I mean, I claim my Blackness. I mean, Kamala Harris, I'm from California, moved to Texas, and out here, y'all, they serious with it. And I had some talks with some people, some Republicans, and they're like, Kamala's not even Black. And I'm like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I said, because back then it's like a drop. If you have a drop, you know, of Blackness, you're Black. You know what I mean? So now all of a sudden, now she's not, you know what I mean? She's because she's light or Jamaican or whatever it is, like she's Black. To me, she is Black. You guys would categorize us and put us, you segregate, y'all would have us to the left. You know what I mean? So I don't understand the point of now you guys are trying to say that she's not Black. You guys just don't want us to have anything in that sense. And yeah, that's really like what I have to say on that topic.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
You know, you be speaking, Schoolboy, Bishop. I love it. I love all of you guys. Like, I'm just so cheese, Monica. Love you, girl. You really be getting me through work. So, yeah. It's the housewives chatter for me. You know how Bravo did Mo, all that. You know, colorism. I could talk all day about it. I feel like sometimes they say, you know, the light-skinned girl can't talk because you've had the privilege, but I feel like that's why I want to say even more, because I feel for like my dark-skinned sisters, and I love them, and I feel like they should embrace it. But I also want, you know, my light-skinned sisters, the little girls, to embrace it too. Like, don't be ashamed. You know what I mean? Love your skin and love your sister's chocolate skin. That's why, and it is taught. It's taught in the home. And Schoolboy made a good point. Like, it's the celebrities that bring the colorism of like, oh, I want the light skin, because in the home, yeah, your mother is Black, your mother is chocolate, you know, your father is chocolate. And then when you're chocolate, the man is chocolate, and you get a light skin, you know, girl, you're still going to have your features. You know what I mean? You're still going to carry your features. So what is the, you know, the point of that? I want little, I've always wanted a little chocolate baby. Like, that's just my, I love it. But yeah, that's all I have to say. And I think that we should all unite. And I think that her song was definitely, like Dr. Ivy said, there's nothing wrong with like having a song about you, but there's nothing about like her life or what she went through. It's just like, he want me because I'm yellow skin, and like it was just putting, you know, the rest of our Black women, I feel, in a sense of like, well, what about us? You know what I mean? If there was a song that, if Megan Good, I mean, she came on a song like that, like, and then deteriorating, like just all like, well, what about the other Black women? I feel like it did put, in a sense, down, and she was college and she knows what she was doing.
She's not even Black, so it doesn't even add up. That's the main issue.
That part too. And then the point of her being Dominican, something that she knows where she's coming from. And I just not too long ago learned the history about Haiti and Dominican and how horrible they were. So the fact and she's gonna say, I don't know the benefits that I carry.
How horrible they are today. The same thing goes on today. It's really, really sad. But Chelsea, thank you so much for calling in.
Thanks, y'all. Y'all have a good night.
You too, my love. You too.
And can I kind of throw a curveball in there too? A lot of our light-skinned brothers and sisters have light-skin guilt too. We don't ever talk about that. And I'm a brown-skinned man that my cousin, who's like my little brother, we best friends. He's light. The one I was telling you about got like 80-90% of West African in him. He always said, I want to be dark like you and your brothers. And I said, wow, you my brother. He's like, well, no, because his dad is chocolate skin. And people like say, oh, you're not your dad's son. Oh, you're not this, that, and third, but looks just like him.
Right.
minus the chocolate skin. So they have that guilt in them. And I heard light skinned women say, I want to be dark skinned so I can be connected to my sisters. It's sad. It's really sad.
We need to really stop that within the community itself. We have issues we need to work out. Black is black, whether you're light, caramel, or dark. You know, we're all the same, and we really need to unite and stop the nonsense and that mess. And it just caused so much division within the community. You know, we got issues. Platinum Diva, I just want to say thank you so much for the super chat. We really appreciate it.
Also, can I just say, my name is EVA. Looks like Ivy, but pronounced EVA.
It looks just like Ivy.
I know.
Yeah.
Maybe I need a pronunciation guide. But
EVA, yeah,
like the letters EV and A. Yeah, but you know, I agree. I think my concern is just for the young. Actually, you don't even have to be young. The just darker skinned women and our confidence.
Absolutely.
I think you know, it's hard. It is hard. You always do. Sometimes you kind of do want that male attention, and there's some things with, you know, when you're coming of age, of seeing your friends getting picked to dance or getting picked for the dates or and there's this constant reinforcement of that aesthetic, and so it's hard to, you know, sometimes have that internal self-confidence. So it may have to be built in something else, like your degrees or your money or, you know, something else. I hope that we can try and find other like positive representation of also beautiful Black women that are honored and celebrated. I do think women are trying to form this sisterhood, but it's different when you have male attention.
I just wanted to address this comment real quick. Monica's saying, but keep calling her the wrong name. People call me all kinds of stuff all the time. I don't take offense to it. It's okay. They've been doing it my whole life. It's all right.
It's all
Tonica,
right.
Bianca, Monica. It's all good. You know, Dr. Ivy, EVA knows she's Dr. EVA, and we love her. Nevertheless, Rika, hey girl, how you doing? Let me see. Are you on mute? Let me take you off. Take yourself off of mute, honey. Okay, there you go.
Okay, so I was laying down listening to y'all, and then I had to get up. So I'm looking rough because I was on my way to sleep. But I needed to talk about this topic because I'm older than you guys. Don't look it, but I am. Black don't crack.
Clearly.
And I've dealt with this my whole life. I'm in my 40s now, and I dealt with this since I was a little girl. You know, I got the full lips. I come from a family where my mom is the lightest one in the family. My dad's the darkest. So we're in a range. Like, it's a color spectrum in my family out of 5 kids. And then we also have the hair texture. You know, like, I got the true African, chemically treated kind. And I have my other sisters where they got the, you know, the wet and wavy. And you don't have to buy it in bundles. So, you know, I had to deal with that as I was growing up because I was teased because of my lips or my hair texture or whatever, in school as well as at home. You know what I'm saying? And as I've grown up, gotten older, gotten more in tune with who I am and happy with who I am. And now I see that they're paying a whole bunch of money for these lips that I got blessed by God. You know, I'm so much happier, and I don't understand why it's still the same. These kids, they're kids. They're kids saying this stuff, doing the same thing. I've seen it over and over. I've seen it when I was their age. I seen it in high school. I dated this guy who's he was close to blue black. And because I wasn't going to take his stuff, and I went to a mixed school, it was a private school, because I wasn't going to take his stuff, he thought to get back at me, let me date this white girl. And mind you, she was homely. That didn't hurt my feelings at all.
Oh,
Didn't hurt
you
my
said
feelings. I was like, what you trying to do here?
she was
But
home?
as you, and I'm sorry if I hurt somebody's feelings in the chat. Sorry, y'all. Just being honest. I'm sure she was a lovely girl, though.
The shade is real.
Just saying. But as I've grown older and more mature and comfortable with myself, you have to understand, you just have to be happy with yourself. Because if you're not happy with yourself, you can't make anybody else happy. And these grown men that still in today, they're still doing the same thing. So it's really with who are you and if you're mature within yourself. Because I was not blessed with the butt. God hit me on the thighs. You know what I'm saying? So you just have to be happy with what you got. If I want, I can go buy me a booty if I want it, but that's another story.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
It's not worth it. It's not.
No.
So
No.
and I'm too old for it now. I'm like, I'm done. I'm in my 40s. You got to love me as I am. And I'm just going to do some squats. We can squat it up together.
Yeah, exactly. You're beautiful. Thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you.
Rika. We appreciate you. You have a blessed evening.
You too.
Bye. Bye.
Monica, one day we have to do that conversation. I was thinking about it. I'm glad Rika said it when Dr. EVA was talking about the confidence of. I'm like, well, child, we got to go into the whole thing of growing up as a black girl with no booty, because that's a shame. Everybody tells you as a black girl you got to have a booty, and I didn't. My mom and my sister had the Coke bottle shapes with the booties. I didn't. I just had the big boobs. I wanted some booty.
That's all right, Ples. Dr. Wendy don't have none either. I mean, and she's Nigerian. That's an oxymoron. Nigerian big butt. Like, come on now. How did that happen?
But people, I'm just saying, that's why we
stereotypes.
gotta embrace ourselves and love ourselves in all colors, shapes, and forms, because but it is hard when you're the cutest and the funniest and the smartest. And all the guys want the big booty. I'm just saying, I won't speak on my pain on your show.
Look, I like the nerd girls. My friends look at me like, why are you with her? Like, she got an imagination.
Little booties matter.
But you know the beauty.
Exactly. You are beautiful and you are the smartest. And that's all that counts. That's it. Yes, God bless you in other ways. Margi Bond, thank you so much for the super chat. It definitely is a difference. I'm a dark-skinned woman with Africana features. That 5F hair. I never seen 5F hair.
What? 5F? I ain't never heard of that.
What is that? What is that? Big nose and big lips, and it's different than the darker of us who have the European features. It's a real thing. Absolutely. We come in all shade, sizes, and colors and hair textures. I've never heard of 5F though. I got to go look that up. Okay, so who am I going to bring on here? Really, Lavon. Hey, sweetheart. Hi.
Hey.
How are you?
What's up?
Wait a minute. Did somebody say nerd girls be freaks? Y'all stop it.
They do.
They do.
Hey,
They do.
They do. They got an imagination. I'm telling you. They read all them books. They be reading Karma Sutra. They be reading everything.
Oh, okay.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Hey, see, players be knowing.
The lawyer's gonna plead the fifth.
But you know that's the thing. If you're not focused on male attention or attention for your aesthetic, you can develop other things, and I think that's one of the things that makes Black women so magical. It's like everyone's different, but we're so resilient. We have a kind of a unique, specific set of circumstances that I think developed our inner core. So, I think I may have put on my YouTube channel or somewhere, but confidence is really the best accessory, and it's more than an accessory. But where does that confidence comes from is kind of what pretty much everyone else is saying as well.
Yes.
We don't have to be focused on what necessarily what the white girls are doing or what the Black men say they want. We have to, I think, focus on us, and the rest will fall into place, you know?
Yep. LaVon, what are your thoughts on all of our topics tonight? Whatever you want to comment on. What are your thoughts?
Well, let's start off with the last topic we were just talking about. And I want to just say that I think that she definitely knew what she was doing by making that song 100%. There's no way you can convince me that she was somehow surprised by how the song was taken. And in her little apology video, she basically admitted herself what she was doing. She said, I was feeling cocky. So if you're feeling cocky, you're using this as a way to put other people down. You're saying, this is how I value myself, and this is why I'm better than you. This is why he wants me, not because I'm a bad B, but just because I'm a yellow bone. And she mentioned, oh, well, you know, there are other songs where dark-skinned girls talk about their dark skin. And I thought about that. I could never really think of one that was used to put down anyone else. You know, and that's the difference. You know, when they talk about their skin, it's always my skin is beautiful. Like, my skin is this. It's never like, my skin is better than yours because of this, which is what she was doing. What she did was she took over a term that wasn't hers. I'm Trinidadian. You're right. The term like red bone and yellow bone are a part of our culture. And what she said was, well, that's a yellow bone to me. Well, who are you? That's not your culture to take and say that's mine. And this is what yellow bone is to me. How dare you? You know what I mean? Like, I believe that if she was truly a Black woman, or she felt any kind of relationship to Black people, that she would be smart enough not to use that sentence or that tone in a way to devalue people that she might have, like we said, in her family, like her friends. If she knew any dark-skinned person that she loved, she would not be saying that, because we would know what that means. And I think that she did it definitely on purpose. So that's what I have to say on the topic when it comes to her. She basically stole a culture that was not used. I mean, I am somebody who is light-skinned, and that has happened to me before. I've been told one of the most offensive things that I was told was by a white person. He said, oh, you're Black, but you're safe Black. You're like Will Smith Black. And my jaw just dropped, because I was like, I'm Black. I look in the mirror every day and I see a Black man. Like, who are you to tell me that I'm not that Black, or I'm not Black to you? And it's the same thing what she's doing. This is yellow bone. This is how I'm defining it, when she has no right or reason to define anything that's not her culture.
Right. Absolutely. Was that a white man that told you that, or a Black person?
It was a white man.
Okay. Yeah. Sometimes they get very comfortable like that, and they do make statements like that. You know, I've seen it here. I mean, I've seen it on college campuses where, you know, you have a Black child or female or male, and they assimilate really well within that white group, and they get comfortable and they'll say stuff like that. Like, you're not like one of them, you know?
Oh yeah, and other Black men would do that to lighter skinned Black men. My cousin, we used to be all together all the time. They was like, yeah, I ain't gonna mess with your bro, because he can rip somebody head off, but you light skinned, you kind of soft. Because they associated light skin with being soft. So for a light skinned woman, it works better for her, because she's seen as someone that's submissive and sweet. And that's not always true. Just because she light skinned don't mean she's submissive and sweet automatically. But when it comes to a light skinned man, it seems deemed as weak and he's vulnerable. This is why a lot of women don't want to date light skinned men like that. Unless it's a dark skinned woman where she like, I want a man with good hair and curly hair. See, it's kind of like weird where it swaps.
Yep.
They don't want each other.
Good
Bishop
point.
is right. He's telling the whole truth. It's definitely a double standard.
Mm-hmm.
We always make the jokes about the light-skinned men. A book that I read in like my African American studies in class, but it stuck with me, y'all. Think about it in our cultural level, like the images we saw on TV. Something like what Schoolboy was talking about earlier with the kids and the parents. But think about it in terms of like living single, right? Mm-hmm. Max was the dark one who could never keep a man. Mm-hmm. Regine was light-skinned, going on all the dates. She was never thought of as anything other. She was desirable. Again, Martin. Most people, not all, but most people would say Tashina or Arnold, Pam, kills, Tisha Campbell in the looks
And looks
department.
department, yes.
But Pam could never keep a man.
And her breath stank.
Can I tell you something? Right, her breath. Pam is actually light skinned. I met Pam years ago. I used to work in this Southern food restaurant, and she came in, and this is when she was on Ryan's Hope.
Right, that's a long time ago.
That's a long. Y'all probably didn't even know she was on a soap opera called Ryan's Hope. She had bad acne, and I think they would cover the acne up with a lot of makeup because she's actually light skinned. She had no makeup when I met her, and she was light.
Oh yeah, my aunt
on her face. Yeah,
that's my aunt's friend. She's actually in the girl group, her with her sisters, the Arnold sisters.
Yeah, but that just like I'll never forget that when I read that, I'm like, it goes to show you how pervasive it is. And that's why, honestly, if your parents don't teach you, if you don't learn it at home, you get all of these clues, external clues, and it feeds into your subconscious. So that's why the parents have to constantly reinforce you're beautiful, you're gorgeous. I love I can't remember her name, but it's a younger Black couple. I think they're actually, because I think her husband is Latino, but she went viral with the little girl like combing her hair. She's like 5 or 6 now, her little girl, but she used to get her daughter in the mirror and do affirmations. And so she was like 2 years old saying, I gorgeous. And I'm like, think about if you do that, if everybody did that for their baby.
Yeah. Absolutely. Mirage said she was joking. She don't have 5F here. Listen, I'm reading all day, guys. My mind just be like, I take things very. I was like, oh, that's a new one. I gotta go because things change all the time. You never know. I could be a brain. I'm not up on everything. She really has 4C, but she was painting a picture. And thank you so much for the super chat. Lavon, sweetheart, the backstage is getting filled up, but thank you for adding commentary, a constructive commentary to the chat. We love you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Call back in. All right, take care. I want to add D because these people have been waiting a long time. Hey, D.
What's up?
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Girl. Oh, let me turn my fan off. It's hard for me.
Okay.
All righty, I'm back. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm cooking while I'm listening at the same time.
You know you're busy.
Well, okay, so let me get started. Now, first things first. Dani was cut. That song, first of all, the song was already trash. Her music is already trash. We all know that. We know that. So it was no point of her putting any music out. No point. Secondly, the whole thing of the song, to me, I will say this, because if she knew she was going to get dragged this bad, I don't think she would have put the song out and been so confident and, oh, it's all about me. I honestly think the song was not for us. It was for nobody, but it was for Mimi. That was it. The whole thing was for the baby mom. Yellow bonus, what he want? She said she was talking about her man at that time. That's all that was for. And to chime off of what Bishop said, I definitely did hear that she left him. She said no. Mimi said no. That's why she said it's not about what he want. He settled. Of course he was going to be with her. I've been said it before. I think their whole relationship is a publicity thing anyway. The back and forth that they had going on, everybody kept talking about it. He was with her one day, then with Mimi the next day. So this is a big thing for him. It's to get them talking, get people talking about him. They taking on all this. Y'all so public now, but before you couldn't even really claim her. Yes, the whole thing away. So I don't even think this is something that he likes. I think it's just something to do when it's something to do. And she's the fun girl. Mimi requires a lot of work and she knows who she's dealing with. DaniLeigh is the fun girl and he's trying to have fun. So have your fun. And then when it's time for you to get it together, because I couldn't understand why she would put a song out like that, dating a Black man when he has Black daughters. I just could not understand that. What possessed her to think that this is going to be a hit? This is going to go #1, everything. I don't know. I really think because she's dating the baby, she feel like she can do no wrong.
Right.
He's finally my man. He's finally claimed me. He put me in the song. No wrong. Forget everybody. Y'all don't know me, whatever. I honestly think she felt like this is her and the baby's bubble, nobody else.
Right.
The apology was not an apology. It made it I was watching it like, girl, what? who's letting her do this? But she does not have a team. There's no way she has a team. It's
They
no
said
way.
her cousin's her publicist. I don't know.
Come on now, you know, some publicists say they publicists and still cannot do the right job. I'll tell you that.
That's true.
You know, Patience Foster, she was a publicist, and I don't think she did a great job with Cardi.
Oh, yeah.
So, and one thing that I think is because she was so close to her. So this your cousin being so close to you, they're not going to think everything you say is right. Everything you say do is good. You paying them. This is whatever. No. Because the real publicist is going to do their job. That's not your publicist. That's just your cousin. She probably was your publicist for that moment. That was it.
Her cousin's doing a fabulous job by letting her career just die.
Yeah.
The girl is not talented.
Yeah.
She's just cute. That's it.
That's it.
Because the yellow bone's all he wrong. That's it. I'm like, okay.
Like, what
that's
else
all
did she
you are.
sing about? Honestly, like, what else? That's all she know is we don't want to hear anything.
Yeah.
So cousin, keep doing what you're doing. Let her keep talking.
Yeah, there you go, cousin. There you go, cousin. You know, walking right off.
Where can everyone find you? The backstage is getting really filled up, honey.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Right,
now tell them about your YouTube.
Oh, yes. I'm doing mukbangs on YouTube. You can find me at watchd_everything on Twitter, Instagram. I'm there. You'll see me with food in my mouth.
Yes, that's right. All right, sis. Bye.
All right, bye.
Bye. Shannon the Van, thank you so much for the super chat. She goes, as a white woman who wants to be an ally, I love to hear these kind of discussions. Thank you. To me, all shapes and shades are gorgeous. Thank you, Shannon the Van.
I give Shannon the Van kudos just for saying she don't see color, baby.
That's true.
Allies like to say, I don't see color.
Rachel came ready. She got the Black Lives Matter.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Not sure where to start here, but as far as that little girl is concerned, little Spanish girl, Danny, you know, it's a running theme right now. You know, her head is big and filled up because of the company she's been keeping. Usually, Redbone is a conversation piece between Black people. Now, correct me if I'm wrong from what I'm about to say, and usually it's about a heterosexual man talking about a woman that he's interested in. So a lot of this, I believe, comes from ignorant Black men bigging up non-Black women to think they're Black, like Cardi B and J-Lo. We need to stop and recognize who's who, love whoever it is, respect whoever it is. Just because your hair is coarse does not make you Black. And Fat Joe needs to stop perpetuating the mess about Cardi B being Black. I'm not trying to make this anything other than what it is. Tell the truth. Don't just tell your truth. Tell the truth, okay? It's not about what you believe. It's about what it is. Now, everybody is cool to do what they want, but that little Danny girl needs to make a formal apology written by someone smarter than her, like a publicist or somebody upon that level, and say what she needs to say. And she needs to believe it moving forward, no matter what her bad buddies tell her. And she really shouldn't take advice from someone who slaps up women every chance he gets and calls it being defensive. Let's put that on out there too. So, you know, it's tiring and exhausting. Again, we love everybody. It's all good. Live your life, but tell the truth. You're not Black. You're not a red bone. I don't know what it is in the Spanish community because I'm not Spanish, but you're not Black.
They call themselves white in their community. When you're light like that, especially in Florida, the Cubans are white. They don't, no matter how dark they are white.
I think
it is what it is, right?
Miami's insane. So, I don't know. Thank you so much, Rachel. I concur. I agree. She needs to hire a real publicist and give a sincere apology. Oh, she let herself go. All right.
Can I add something? You know, this conversation is also reminding me of the scenario with Soho Karen. Did you guys see? She's dubbed Soho Karen. You know, this young lady in New York who falsely accused a black teenager, a black boy teenager, of stealing her phone, and she was so disrespectful with Gail. You know, talking about, oh, I'm Puerto Rican, so enough. I'm Puerto Rican and all this stuff. I think people need to understand the difference between like race and ethnicity. And for some reason, it's people are not quite getting it. Slavery did not just happen in America, you know, from West Africa to America. There are slaves all over the world.
Yes.
That means they were dropped. There's African American, meaning black people dropped off in America. There are black people dropped off in Cuba. There are black Cubans and there are white Cubans. There is a difference. They all live in the same country or region, but there's a completely different historical context when you're talking about people of different colors coming together under the guise of slavery, colonialism, capitalism. So your ethnicity, I mean, that color matters regardless of your, you know, ethnicity, period. And how you present is different. Like you might technically be 90% this or 50% whatever, but how you show up in the world and how a cop is going to view you, I know what I look like because my life depends on it.
Oh yeah.
If you have a, you know, if you're a Muslim or wear, you know, certain garments and stuff like that, you're gonna know when you step on a plane how to act. Hello?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So
very well said. I'm gonna add Chris. Hey Chris.
Hello.
Hello.
You know, I think it's a big disappointment what she said. I think it was rude and disrespectful. You know, we're coming up on Black History Month the next Monday. And this really speaks to how far we've come as a country and as a people still. We're still talking about racism. We're still talking about colorism. You know, and we see why Beyonce has to write songs like Brown Skin Girl to steady keep darker skinned women and then, you know, encourage, because you have people like her who go out and make these reckless songs and speak out the side of their neck and say this and that. I just think it's ridiculous. And I'm glad she got dragged. And I would like to read her down too. And I'm glad I'm on the show to read her down.
Okay. Well,
no problem. Because, you know, and again, you know, just looking back at what's happened in these past 4 years and police brutality and things like that, I really think that, you know, people who had that mentality like her have forgot where they came from and forgot what we've had to fight for all these years. And in ways, Black people who do stuff like that, we hold ourselves back because we play the colorism game and we create division in our own community. And we can't continue to tear each other down and create division in our own community. It's not going to work like that.
Right.
And we can't move forward. And I'm 20. And, you know, I was raised to be thankful for my skin color and however darker, however light, because I have a darker brother too. And people would tell me, well, oh, your brother's darker than you. And you have, you know, the bigger curly hair, better grade and everything like that. So, you know, they would be discriminatory towards him because it was a colorist issue. I grew up with it and I also saw it. And I was also treated that way too because there were kids that were lighter than me who got treated better because I was on the darker side. So it was a bogus statement to make. And the song was raggedy. As the other lady said earlier, it was trash. And that's all.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you so much, Chris. You need to call in more often. I like it. I like your reads.
Hi, Chris.
Quote unquote. You can read it. You can read it down. I like it.
He came with that energy. He came with that fire.
He came with that energy. I was like, oh, I pepped up. You have a great evening. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I want to address this comment from Brenda because I think it's really important. Brenda says, you are absolutely right, sister. She's referring to you, Dr. EVA, that transatlantic slave ship dropped slaves all throughout the Caribbean, not just America. That's another problem within this community. Black is black. I don't care if you come from Jamaica, Haiti, Trinidad, Guyana, or here in America. We all got dropped off on the slave ship at different places. We're all black. I hear so many African-American brothers and sisters refer to Caribbean or African black people as not being black. Well, they ain't really black anyway. What does that even mean?
It's a social classification of showing that you are from African descent. People don't get it.
It also, though, is because a lot of those people don't accept themselves as black themselves. So the real, to me, the real miseducation occurs there because a lot of our Caribbean brothers,
real quick, because I have family members that are from the Caribbean. I do, and family members that were born here and that came from Mississippi and came from Atlanta. I think African American people have that stigma in their head about Black African people and Black Caribbean people, that they don't consider themselves Black, because the people I deal with within my family consider themselves Black.
Well, I think it's both. And like you said, it's based on your perspective. I've met some that bristle at the word Black. They don't want to be associated with it. I personally don't like the African American moniker. I am Black, Black first, woman second. And whenever I'm talking about our community, I'm talking about Black America. But that word has so much stuff on it that a lot of people reject it. They don't like the label. They just don't. And I'm glad you have people in your family, again, they were taught well. But a lot of the ones that I've experienced, they reject it because, just like as Dr. EVA said, we were dropped. They didn't just drop us off here. We were dropped off in Cuba, in Central America, in South America, in the islands, everywhere.
The first place was Brazil. Over 60-some million slaves went there
South
first.
America. Yes,
because from Portugal. So people got to do their homework and their research. And I be telling people, Google just not just to research your favorite artist. Google is your best friend. Type it in.
Colonization divide. That's it right there. Colonization divide. Yes, yes.
I want to piggyback.
That's where it all.
Because I have cousins that they pass Creole light, but you better not call them white, because they say in a minute I'm Black. And they will fight for us just much as we'll fight for them. So I think it, like Monica said, it's all about what you identify with. When I go out, people think I'm Dominican. I'm not Dominican. But they look at my hair and they start speaking to me in Spanish, and I'm like, I'm not Dominican.
Right. Yeah.
They're like, is you Puerto Rican, BJ? Are you Puerto Rican? And then they start speaking Spanish. And I'm like, oh, I like the way you said it, but I don't understand where you say it.
I don't know what you're saying.
I understand French, but I don't understand no Spanish.
I have family members that look like Miss Mabel. Miss Mabel that call in here, our aunt, Miss Mabel. They're Black. Yeah. They're Black. Like you said.
I thought she was Black.
Yeah.
I thought Miss Mabel was Black, honestly.
Creole. And they don't call them white now. Woo, they lose it. They lose it. So yeah, it's just, we have a lot of work to do within the community. Let me bring on, I'll bring on 3 more before we get out of here. Hey, Coco. How you doing?
Hey, Coco.
Hey, with your pretty self. Not really. Take out the earbuds. You're breaking up.
Okay, now can y'all hear me?
That's much
better. Yeah, we can hear.
Okay, well, I'm from Mississippi, and I have a grandmother who is as high yellow, light bright as they come. But call that woman mixed, she'll cuss you out. Call her white, she'll cuss you out. And she was a part of our hometown civil rights movement. We have a small civil rights museum, and I hate saying this, but when she was fighting for our rights, my great grandmother, her job told her, if your daughter goes to this march, you will be out of a job. She showed up to work, they handed her pink slip.
Wow.
So for me, race is a big thing because she actually is Creole. Like her parents were dark skinned, and the sad reality of my grandmother's being is her biological father was Creole. He came to Mississippi, got my great grandmother, who was dark skinned, pregnant, left her high and dry, and went back to his family. And she had to raise my grandmother until she met my great grandfather, who dark skinned black man, never treated her different. She only knew that man as daddy. So race in my family, like the division, it don't exist because I know what this woman went through. And it takes a toll on me because, you know, when my grandma tell me about the stuff she went through in Mississippi, being back in the day, light skin didn't mean. I'm trying not to cuss me. I know y'all don't cuss. Being light skinned didn't mean shit. You was black,
right?
Like pure. And she had dogs sicked on her, on her, because Martin Luther King came to my hometown, and the things that she could give you a history lesson and you'll be in tears because my grandmother fought to give us the child care system. We wouldn't have daycares if it wasn't for grandma and her friends.
Oh wow!
So I take this to heart.
Yeah.
When down to DaniLeigh's, she got some bops, but it's like, who bopped you in the head? Cause just because you like don't mean nothing. And the song was a diss to Mimi. Point blank period. She can call it what you want. It was a diss. And it was a diss and you missed. Cause being to me don't mean shit. I'm not trying to cut so much, but like that to me was so disrespectful, and you thought it was cute, and it was just taking it ugly.
Yeah.
And it's called having class. And like how for the past couple of days y'all been talking about PR training, growing up as somebody who wanted to be in the music biz. If you didn't know how to handle yourself or have the right people behind you, you make yourself look like a fool. And nowadays with social media, everybody just putting themselves on blast. Like, I don't know how to shut up. Y'all don't know how to handle yourselves accordingly. Cause from back in the day, from what I know, and I'm only 23, doing my research, they will get you in check. Your label will get you in check real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. But so social media did it. They got her in check real quick. And thank God for it, right? Because had this happened, let's say 15 years ago, she still would have been in the clouds. I mean, she's still in the clouds. Don't get me wrong. She's not going to stop, be introspective and change. But at least she knows she can't profit off of this mess. We're not going to tolerate it.
No, we're not going to tolerate it. And I guess for me, because I'm still quote unquote young, because I'm 23. Like growing up in high school, middle school, you could see the division. Like as brown skinned as I am, I saw how boys pick lighter skinned girls over me. And we talking about best of friends being broken up over like we grew up in the woods. You may be light, I may be brown, but like sis, I thought we wanted to pick a dude over each other.
And it's their loss because you look good.
Thank you.
You're beautiful.
Yes. And I have one more thing. For everyone who say they want a booty, having a body and a booty don't mean nothing.
Right.
I have one. I've been blessed and highly favored by the good father.
Yes, God.
But from being 14, 15, 16, being as harassed as I have been by grown men who could have been my daddy, having a body ain't everything. I promise y'all it's not. And for those who go by, you know, that's on you. But it also goes into where in the 2010s and things, growing up, seeing Nicki Minaj and everybody coming out with a plastic body, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I was that girl who thought I needed to go lay on the table.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate that. But it took me growing up and looking at all this, and it's like, I'm fine. I don't need it.
No, you don't.
But but we see it now in the girls who that really affected. Like, damn, I gotta go buy a body, do stuff to my face, bleach my skin so that I can be pretty. But at the end of the day, you were beautiful before.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you were.
That was the devil that was speaking. The devil's busy.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that.
He was, but that's not ever gonna happen. I hope that, I guess, we as the generation now, even with social media, like, representation matters, and we really need to show it, because it was just, for me, 8 years ago, I'm thinking I need to go lay on the table. I got little cousins. I don't need them thinking they need to go lay on the table. I don't think they need to go fix their nose or perm their hair, because you're beautiful the way you are. Point blank, period. Because at the end of the day, you're beautiful because God made you. If He didn't think you was gonna be beautiful in His image, I don't think He would have created you. Everyone's beautiful because you're a creation of God. You're special.
Absolutely. Amen. I love that. And I love you. Thank you so much for calling in. And listen, keep educating your friends, family, because you are a very smart young lady. God bless you.
Hopefully I can be on another live soon, because Ms. Monica, I've been waiting all everything, like, from the Potomac through all this. I've been like, oh Lord, I could have words about Andy, but I'm gonna digress on that situation.
Right? All right, sis. Take care. Have a good night. Bye. I just wanted to touch on this comment real quick. And WLA Croix. I guess you're from St. Croix. Okay, so now y'all backtracking. DaniLeigh is Dominican, which is very diverse. Why she can't say yellow bone? Because she's not black. Because she's not black. It's just that simple. She's not Afro-Latina. She's European Latina, and it's different. In the Dominican Republic, they don't even want to be associated with being African or black. You're looked down upon, when you're African or even have any kind of African DNA in you. That's why. I'm going to backtracking. I don't even know. I'm going to bring on 2 more callers, and then before we get out of here, because this is such a deep topic, and everyone has an opinion. And Tamara. Hey,
hi. How are you? How's everybody?
Good.
I really enjoy this conversation. I'm Haitian. I was born here in Canada, but my parents are first generation came here. And the yellow bone comment from that Dominican woman was purely intentional. I know there's a lot of Dominicans here. I know the Dominican culture here. They're very proud of their culture. They do not consider themselves black. And you know what? Haiti was an island called Hispaniola that was divided into 2 countries, DR and Haiti. So the Europeans brought us here. The French colonized us, Haiti. That's why we speak French. And the Spaniards colonized Dominican Republic. Yeah. So we all came from Africa. We were spread out all over South America, all over the Caribbean, Jamaica. When we got our independence, yes, we were the first. Jamaica helped us, though. Bookman helped us. And I've been asked, like, speaking by white people here, like, okay, well, you're not really, really black. I'm like, yeah, I'm black. Well, okay, so then why are you genuine question, because it's like, I'm curious, like, why are some people darker and some people lighter? I said, well, the difference is, you want to know the truth? Well, when we were brought here, the reason I'm a lighter skin tone is because there was a lot of mixture, not, it was a forced type of mixture. And that's why I'm lighter skin. I'm lighter skin because our people were raped. And it was, I don't want to say it, but it's true. The mixture was forced, okay? So for and there's natives there too because of the natives that were in Haiti at the time. They were taken over too. That was their island. You know what I mean? So that's why the mixture is there. So for somebody like this singer rapper, I didn't hear her song Yellowbone. She knew exactly what she was talking about. Come on, with all this talk about race, and it's just sad that and it's something that, like, I know that we should take accountability as people, as Black men, and in the rap game and everything, but we have been so conditioned to think white is better just through words like a white lie, the black sheep, just like little things, just little subtle things that are thrown out, the black cloud. Like, there's like those little subtle things we don't even realize have conditioned us, like, to really think that dark black, you wear black when there's dead. Like, you know, like, I know it's so subtle, but we've been conditioned to really think that black is bad. So anyway, so for her to, like, for anybody to be like, oh, light, this and that, oh, I'm so proud because I'm light skinned. You know what? There's a lot that comes with being light skinned. There's a background and there's a history to the reason you're light skinned. So don't just strut around going, oh, I'm light skinned. Yeah, a lot of things have happened. For me to be the skin tone, we're originally from Africa. Right. And there's a lot of mixture that happens, and we know what happened in history there. So when I told my European friend this, he was like, oh, it's an ugly truth, but that's why I'm the color I am. It's 3 generations of things that happened when we were brought to this country, or when we were brought to Haiti, or when we were brought across the pond. And it is what it is. But so all that to say, I'm very proud of our Black people. I think we just really need to it's really hard when people are constantly. Thank you, Bishop. Oh yeah, this is for you, by the way, Bishop. I always see you with your sign, and I have my little board in my office. I'm like, yes, Bishop. Every time I see him with his signs, it cracks me up. I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, what's he saying now with his signs? So hilarious.
I love it.
Yeah, anyway, so I think, like, there's a lot of work to be worked on, and it's not just Black people, it's Asian people. Actually, Asian people, Indian people have this problem. They have bleaching creams there too. It's a whole, like, colonization of this whole world, this whitewash kind of rhetoric. And on the Breakfast Club, I don't know if you guys saw it. It was really interesting. One of my white friends called me, and he's like, hey, I was watching the Breakfast Club, and they were talking about why white men love Black women. I'm like, get out of here. And they had this whole topic on the last week. and they were like, call in, guys. White men, call in. Why do you like our Black sister? And I was like, wow. Like, so people are like, they wanted to promote the fact that Black is valuable. Black is beautiful, and I'm glad she got dragged and she knew what she was doing. I'm sorry, but she knew what she was doing. Yeah. You don't come up with. She sat there and was like, "I'm gonna come up with a song called Yellowbone." Yes. Oh, sorry.
Thank you so much.
Oh, sorry, I'm talking too much. But anyway,
okay, this is a broader discussion. Oh, do you have it in the background?
Sorry.
You have this audio playing in the. Okay, that's fine. This is a broader discussion, and we'll probably come back and revisit this. I'm echoing. Are you playing this recording someplace else?
Am I what? Oh, well, I have a speaker so I can feedback.
Yeah, like turn the speaker down, honey.
Oh, sorry about that. All right.
You good?
My speaker is playing.
I guess. Take care. Bye. Princess. Hi, Princess.
Hey, Princess.
Hey, Princess.
How's you in today?
I changed
Thank you for waiting and being so patient.
Oh, you know, I know how this goes. I'm in here playing in the chat. It's a few ways I'm gonna go with this racial thing, but first of all, everybody wants to be Black until it's time to struggle like a Black. Okay, nobody wants to be Black. You want to take our hair and our culture. You want to buy you a booty, buy you some breasts, but you won't buy into the struggle that's a part of that, okay? I grew up with one of the most racist people that I have known and I will ever know outside of some white people that I've met, and that is my mother. And I'm not villainizing her, but that's just a fact. She's very, very light skinned. Not quite passing, but you know, she's very light skinned. When she was coming up in her era, she had the Coke bottle. My mama got booties and breasts, and she had that little bitty waist that these people, she had that shape that people are buying today. Okay. And then she had fine hair. Okay. All these numbers and colors and all that. Look, you either had nappy hair or you had good hair. And they said that she had the good hair. And my mother's hair, she really doesn't even need relaxers too much now. Okay. She would be in the house if we was in slavery. But my family is from the South, and these are things that are ingrained. Colorism is ingrained in our heads. And because she's light skinned and we're in the North, which, believe it or not, people came up here to desegregate, but in Chicago, this is one of the most racist cities in the North that you will ever come across. I know not to hang out in Bridgeport too long, even though I was raised up there. Okay. You know not to go. Literally, our neighborhoods are, they're not PC. You're gonna go to Jewtown. You're gonna go to the white neighborhood. You're gonna go to the south side and the black neighborhood. You're gonna go to the west side black neighborhood. You're gonna go to Chinatown. We're not offended by this, but this is what these neighborhoods are called here. And you better stay where you from. And if they don't want you there, you're not going to come to live there. Okay. And that's that. They won't sell you no house. They're not going to sell you no car, or they're going to run you out of that neighborhood if that's not what you want. Okay. Even the Indians, all of those people congregate and they buy from each other and they support one another. Okay. But not our community. We cannot do right. Now, sister girl up here with them braids, see, I had to sit here while this show was going on and listen to this trash because I've seen it all down my social media, and I just kept saying, I don't know her. I know that little Chris Brown song that she got. I ain't really want to hear it till I sat and listened to this trash, and I'm like, are you serious? Okay, and I fought my generation and the generation right before us for raising these kids that ain't got no good sense because you didn't teach them nothing. You didn't teach them the history of our Black history and how we were raped. I'm sorry, that word, I'm sorry. How we were pillaged and assaulted and taken from our communities and our land, and it was taken away from us. I didn't know till I was older how people go down to the DR, okay, and they get, and how they treat them, and how they have to go across, the Haitians have to go across the water to go over there to the place what we look called like the flea market in order to sell their stuff, and then they take the money from them and they may not even get in. They don't even want them to have a livelihood. And we go down there and support this. We support those cultures that are tearing down Blacks. Okay, this is still Black. If you ask me, yeah, Bridgeport, I grew up by Bridgeport, Sox Park. I don't even call myself Black. People look at me and say, you're light skinned. I will tell you, I'm not light skinned. I don't consider myself light skinned because, especially in the industry, when you wanted to go get jobs a few years ago, when you wanted to go do things, I have education. I have been pretty. I have dang near starved myself in order to have that shape back in the day, to get into the places that I wanted to get to. And it did not matter because they could look at my face. It was like, oh, you're pretty. But guess what? I look at what they chose. I had my best friend, we have a chat today, and she said I was overqualified for a promotion. They had dang near told me that I was going to get a promotion. She's down in Atlanta. But guess what? They gave her counterpart, white. They gave the job to her. And she said, I'm more qualified than the person that I was going up against. My bosses thought I had the job. So to us, we cannot fight this. I was born like this. I'm not going to lighten my skin. I'm not going to fight with anybody but dark, because my mother used to talk about dark-skinned women till today. And I would always be like, why do you have so much inner hate for them? But as I grew older, light-skinned people are put against dark-skinned people. And she was like, dark-skinned women is jealous of me. I'm like, it's pretty dark-skinned women. But she was insecure even though she was light. even though she was dang near white. She had to be put up to a standard, and that was ingrained in her. That was told her, you have to be better because you are light skinned and because you got the pretty girl complex. And then there are dark skinned girls here that are told that they're ugly just because they're dark. And and I've been guilty of it as a child. You call people African booty scratchers. You say all kind of horrible things when you're a child because that's what you're taught, to fight against each other. We're all black. We're all black. We're beautiful in all kinds of shades, all kind of colors, but we still have colorism in jobs, in our culture. And that girl, I'll be them snatching them braids up out of her. Here, gone somewhere. You fighting over trash. You acting like trash. Go on here with your trash music. And you ain't got no friends. She ain't got no team, Monica, okay? And she need to go home. I need to talk to her.
Clearly. Princess, you always, I brought you on last because you always shut it down. You can close the show, sis. Thank you for the education. It's the truth. She shuts it down. She really does.
Her guns is blazing.
Does anyone on the panel have a closing statement to wrap this up and bring it on home?
I support her team so much because they're doing an awesome job with DaniLeigh. And y'all keep doing what y'all doing with her. Keep letting her get online to get dragged by her own fans. Because we need it, because I'm tired of these non-singing, non-rapping, non-talent folks come on here just because they cute. I want some real talent back in the industry.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Plas, you got yourself on mute, baby.
Sorry, I just wanted to piggyback off of something that Bishop said earlier. I'll go a little further and say that not only is Google your friend, you have a whole smartphone in your hand. Mm-hmm. When my mama was making me write reports and learn about Malcolm X and Huey P. Newton and Marcus Garvey and all of these wonderful people, I had these big old Encyclopedia Britannicas. Mm-hmm. So people use your smartphone for more than watching us, of course, and playing on the Instagrams and the Facebooks and the Twitters. But if you didn't learn it, research, be curious. Every biopic that I watch, I remember watching Cadillac Records. Some people hated it. I loved it. But I went right to Wikipedia and other sources to see how much of that was actually real. Because, you know, they do movie magic. I wanted to know about these characters for real. I wanted to know about Howlin' Wolf and how he had the money to pay when Muddy ain't had the money to pay. Because Howlin' Wolf said, I don't need the white man's Cadillac. I got this old truck here from Mississippi. Anyway, just know your history. If you don't know it, try to learn it so that we can help our children, as Princess said, be better than us. We can't let this die with the civil rights generation because, as we can see, we're still fighting. So we need to know this. Knowledge is power.
I agree with you, Ples, but you know, my only concern is, you know, does it matter for people? Like, do people feel the need to be curious about Black history? It doesn't necessarily make you more money. It doesn't get you more friends. I mean, you know, what is the benefit? I am curious. I want to know more about my history, but I'm just saying, you know, the young 40-year-old who has like a, let's say, 5-year-old son or daughter, is that being instilled in the home? I don't know.
And so that's what I'm talking about. Hopefully the 40s and 30-year-olds that are watching us will become inspired. That's why we are having these conversations, because again, I think what happened with the generation before us, you know, everybody looked at that civil rights document like it was going to be some kind of saving grace. And 50, 40 years later, we're still in the same fight.
Exactly.
And so nothing has changed. In fact, it's probably even more imperative because we're actually being dumbed down. We're being told that these things don't matter. Why should you have a Black History Month? Why should you have this? Like, these things are important. Knowing where you came from is important. They want you to think that we didn't contribute to this country. We built this country.
Period.
And almost somebody says something about the internet is the white man's invention. You would be shocked to learn how many inventions were Black men and Black women. But because they did not know the patenting process and they didn't know the ins and outs of this country, their inventions were stolen.
It was invented by a Black man that worked in the USPS office. He wanted to give mail much quicker than what he did in the postal service, so he created, the whole thing with the email and everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the one caveat is I'll be honest with you. In high school, I remember we got like our standard high school history textbook. There's a lot of stuff that's missing. And the conquerors write the textbooks. They make the history, number one. Number two, I remember we got an alternative kind of textbook. I think it was by Howard Zinn. And he was somebody who was a little bit more like real with it. And I remember reading the book and just like crying. And honestly, for me personally, it is hard for me to watch Black suffering of any kind on movies, in books. So I have to, for myself, be prepared and be ready. There are times where it's just like I have too much going on. I'm like trying to survive in my own life and just make it. I have that curiosity, but at the same time, it can cost me.
Yeah.
And that goes back to, go ahead.
And that's why I kind of want us to focus on the positives. I myself quit watching slave type movies and those type of movies. It was 1997, maybe I saw Black Panther. And right after that, I saw Rosewood. And I grew up in the Deep South. I often went to summer camps and stuff where I was the only little Black girl. So I could not watch things that were that far. But my mother had already instilled so much in me already. So I focus on the good things that we've done in this country, the positive things that we've done, the first in, space and in that UCLA gymnastics team that allowed that young lady to crip walk. Like, representation is important. Even things that we think are silly, these are barrier breaking things. And so that's when I mean, like, educate yourself on that, because again, they want us to think it was all bad, and it was bad. But even when it was bad, we are resilient, and we were out here being creators, innovators, everything, even with the whole deck stacked against us, not knowing how to read, not knowing the language, not knowing this. We have overcome, and you have to, if people won't teach it to you, empower yourself. So everybody that's watching is of age where they can go out and empower themselves and then pass that down to their children.
Agreed. Beautiful.
Amen.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. And on that note, folks, we're going to wrap up this discussion. And it was such a meaningful discussion that I think we need to come back and do a part two.
Yeah, we do.
Part two, and maybe just focus it around, center part two around people calling in, because a lot of people have thoughts on this topic, and they want to, express these thoughts and congregate with us. So we're going to do a part two. Plus, where can they find you?
Hi, y'all can find me, on Instagram at scared_of_beautiful, and on YouTube at Scared of Beautiful, just spaces, no periods. If you can't find it, go to my Instagram and it's in the bio, because I know some people said they couldn't find it. So,
Schoolboy, where can they find you?
On YouTube at school_boy, on Twitter school_boy, and then on Instagram school_boy_2021.
Bishop, where can they find you?
On YouTube, you can find me at The Bishop, and on Instagram and Twitter, you can find me at Bishop Red Pill.
Princess, where can they find you?
Okay, that's my Instagram, Princess AV613 in the bio. It's my website and my YouTube, House of the Princess. I'm on all that stuff, TikTok and Twitter, Princess N2K. Everything got Princess in it. Princess AV.
Princess.
And Dr. EVA, where can these folks find you?
Hey, teacups. You can find me on Instagram at Dr. EVAOA, just listed right at the bottom. And I also have a YouTube channel, and it's titled my name, EVA Okendaya Apia. There's some great stuff on there.
Yes.
It sure is.
Yes, definitely go follow the whole team. I mean, everyone on this panel offers something exceptional. And you guys can find me here on YouTube. I suggest you hit that subscribe button down below if you're not subscribed. And if you are subscribed, bang that notification bell. And while you're at it, hit that like button. Teacups, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I know this was a deep discussion. I didn't expect us to go this long and go this deep. But I can go 2 more hours, but I know everyone is past people's bedtime.
I have to go to work in the morning.
I know. Your boys like falling asleep.
Time for that after party.
Yeah. Mods.
This one, the after party.
Mods, thank you so much for holding down the chat. I appreciate y'all so much for rocking with us. Everyone that sent in a super chat or a Cash App, thank you so much for helping us keep the lights on. I want y'all to stay safe and be blessed. We'll be back here tomorrow, same time, same place. We love you all. Bye, y'all. Bye.